is up, weather enthusiasts? I'm your host, Pat's Path Predictor. Let's get right into the weather. What a crazy night tonight is going to be. First of all, happy Valentine's Day for those of you who are celebrating that. As for me, I do not have one tonight, and I figured, hey,
That's
what
wonderful.
better way to celebrate Valentine's Day than by streaming weather? I know, that's pretty crazy, isn't it? Well, we're here. Storms United is back. We're here to talk about some very interesting weather coming up in the next few days. Let's go ahead and introduce the crew over here. We have, to start off, we have Daniel. Daniel, welcome back to the stream.
Dear God, help me right now. You did not. You do. No. Pat, you have no context. You have no context what was just happening behind the scenes.
Well, we'll take that one offline. Yeah.
If you want to know, just ask Tony.
Well,
Okay.
no. Let's not do that. No, let's not. No. Not on
In DMs. In
Okay.
DMs.
Yeah,
In the meantime,
okay, yeah.
In the meantime, we will introduce Tony. Tony, say hello to the stream.
Hi, everyone.
Welcome to the train wreck
God.
of a live stream intro.
Oh,
Yeah. Let me. We also have Brendan in the stream. Brendan, say hello.
yeah. Hi.
Okay. Yeah, we have that. We also have Rockets in here. Rockets, say hello to the stream.
Hello, stream.
Yeah, we also.
It's gonna go boom boom.
Yeah, we also have Kitten Goes Crazy in here, but he is muted right now. If he wants to say hello,
greetings.
go ahead. All right. Awesome. Well, in the meantime, though, we have a lot to talk about tonight. We have some severe weather to talk about. We have some winter weather to talk about. Which one do we want to talk about first? Those in the stream. Which one?
All I know, I think me and Tony still have a discussion to do in DMs.
Well, so I'll go ahead and speak up. Let's do the winter weather. Get that out of the way, and we'll dive into severe weather.
All right, we'll talk about the winter weather. I would first, since that's right now. Since right now we're seeing some pretty interesting stuff going on. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up Radar Scope to kind of give you an idea as to what's been going on. Give me a second to pull that up. Okay, here's what we have. I have the Chicago radar pulled up just to give you guys a general idea of what we're looking at. Let me go ahead and do that real quickly, making sure that turns out. Okay, perfect. It's showing on OBS. All right, so here's the situation that we have right here. We have a winter storm developing right now. Currently, we're seeing some very heavy snow over parts of Milwaukee, Chicago, Kenosha, and the areas in between. If we go ahead and go to Lincoln right here, we're seeing more of a freezing rain, sleet mix over here. Same with St. Louis. This is a developing situation that we're going to have to pay attention to. And overall, what do you guys think so far of this winter weather and how it's been panning out?
Yeah. So I think really the most telling thing is and Pat, you know me, I'm not somebody to necessarily critique the weather service, but at the same time, we both know that the weather service can get things wrong.
Okay.
I think the weather service in Chicago completely dropped the ball
Okay.
with the current event. There were not even winter weather advisories issued, especially for a burst of snow that at one point we saw nearly 2 inches an hour just in the last couple hours across the Chicago suburbs.
Oh, wow.
And why I have such kind of a big issue with that is because when we look at the weather service as a whole and what they're there to do, they're an operational entity. They are there to provide heads up or guidance to folks, especially those who travel to work into Chicago, about upcoming weather that could, that they should be aware of. And because there wasn't any advisories issued, we had a lot of people on the roads tonight.
Yeah.
There have already been several accidents across the suburbs tonight because when you have a lot more cars on the road and people aren't necessarily aware of what's set to happen or the severity of it, that can lead to people letting their guard down. And so
Slippery
I think
slide.
it's a slippery slope, exactly. So just from that point of view, I definitely think the event itself did overperform,
Okay.
especially with the snowfall rates. But I think a lot of this is going to taper off tonight. And then for folks across South Central Illinois, round 2 will likely be tomorrow throughout the afternoon. And there are winter weather advisories out by Lincoln. for East Central Illinois. But that's my big thing, Pat. I just think KLOT really dropped the ball on this one.
Oh yeah, and it's not. Yeah, Chicago is the only office I'm looking at based from what I'm looking at Weather Service. They didn't issue winter weather advisories for this. Every other office has as of right now. So that's going to be interesting. In fact, almost all of Michigan and Wisconsin are under winter weather advisories for the snow. Same with Iowa and much of Indiana, and even the Lincoln office in Illinois has issued stuff because of this overperformance. I really hope the Chicago people can get their stuff together for that. Oh, I forgot to turn my camera back on over here. But yeah, thanks for that, Brendan. Is there anything else you would like to highlight with what's going on as of currently, based on radar, based on satellite, what you're seeing?
Not at the moment. I mean, the other thing I'll also add that I think for my weather folks that are watching tonight that really are in tune to sort of the technical side, I think the one thing that was really interesting was you really saw saturation throughout the profile in real time on radar. And here's what I mean by that for folks that may not be following me.
All right.
When we talk about saturation, right, we're talking about not just at the surface, but aloft. And so for those that were watching the radar earlier on this afternoon, especially across Western Illinois, it looked like all of a sudden you went from no precipitation to it just appearing out of nowhere. And the reason for that is because the radar was picking up on saturation being observed throughout the column. And so because of that, then you saw precipitation show up because then it started to fall. So again, for those folks that were watching the radar earlier today and just we went from basically no precipitation to it showing up out of nowhere, it was because you're seeing saturation in the profile happening in real time. So really unique phenomenon. And Pat, I'm happy to post even some loops later on tonight that will show that, but a very wonderful demonstration of that taking place this afternoon. And then I'll also just say too, as far as the event itself, again, I think for Chicago and for points in Milwaukee, things should be improving tomorrow. But that second round that we talked about just moments ago, likely more so to impact East Central Illinois and into Indiana.
Yeah, I've been looking at it. This looks like the second wave, like the backside of this cyclone, is going to be where the bulk of the snow and where a lot of these areas are going to get hammered, especially in Chicago, especially in Northwest Indiana, especially in a lot of these areas. And we're also, I think what's not really being taken into account just yet, or either it's kind of been overlooked because of what's going on right now, is the lake effect that's going to be after this in Lake Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We'll have to see how that pans out. Personally, from what I was thinking before this started blowing up, I was thinking maybe an inch or two in Chicago and some of these suburbs, an area, and maybe some more in points north, especially like near Waukegan and going towards Wisconsin. You could see a couple more inches of snow, but this system is basically exceeding those expectations and blowing this out of the water as of right now. We'll have to see what happens with it, but by and large, like you said, Brendan, based on radar and based on satellite, this system absolutely does seem to be overperforming, and that makes me concerned for tomorrow and Sunday. And it makes me even more concerned for what's going to happen down the road in areas like Michigan, Ohio, New York, those areas as well, that I don't think we've really even considered just yet. So what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I think it's a good point. And I'll say that, yeah, even for myself, I think that's something that I even overlooked was the lake effect. And, you know, we got to remember, right? We've had a pretty interesting month of January, February, where our temperatures, we had a pretty good cold period in the middle of the month of January. And then as we got to the beginning of February, we did have that stretch of some above normal temperatures. So, you know, when we talk about lake effect snow, and this isn't the case for all Great Lakes because it depends on the depth of the lake, but, you know, if we're talking about, say, Lake Michigan and Superior, you know, typically when lake effect season snow ends is when that freezes over the lake. And so we haven't really seen that completely happen because it just hasn't been consistently cold, at least up until now, right? So, yeah, but back to the system itself, Pat, you know, with the orientation of those winds and the fetch component, yeah, I certainly can expect, you know, Waukegan, places like Kenosha could, you know, certainly get some additional accumulation. And of course, those numbers will be higher, as you mentioned, because of the overperformance of this first wave. So yes, great call out on that. Something that I myself even overlooked. So glad you caught that.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you very much, Brendan. Tony, Daniel, do you have anything you'd like to add with this winter weather threat?
Tony, if you want to go first, I'll go second.
Yeah, maybe Tony, talk about the maybe the Northeast. Give us some perspective on that.
So basically, we're looking at up in Albany, New York area, you're looking at anywhere between 3 to 7 inches. In and around PA, New Jersey area, New York, you're looking at approximately 1 to 3 inches of snow with some ice accumulations with some higher totals at an elevation of 1,200 feet or higher is where your heaviest snowfall is going to be. Other than that, it's going to be rain in South Jersey. Sorry.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm actually pulling up the Her Run right now just to show you that. It's going to start out as snow for a lot of these areas, but then, especially in parts of Pennsylvania, it'll transition to freezing rain and sleet and then over to rain eventually, and you won't really see any more snow if this happens at all until you get to the backside of the storm. So that's what I'm watching. Anything else?
So basically, the Catskills is also looking at a 7-inch snowfall total. With that's the high amounts with about less than an inch of ice on top of that. So the Catskills are going to be really a mess up there in around New York.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Daniel, what are your thoughts?
Personally, I've been a little bit more out of the weather sphere for a while. But these snowstorms are rocketing up the Northeast, and we have another one that's going to be a weird mixing event. A lot of mixing up here in the Northeast this year.
Yeah.
That we're definitely more below average than most years on the snowfall.
Sure.
I think we're down like 10 inches below the average.
Yeah, that's a bit of a problem. Oof. But yeah.
Yeah. And Pat, I'll even add to, and this may be kind of we're still on the topic of winter,
Yeah.
but I think the other storyline that is going to be interesting, especially as we look at the overperformance of some of these snow systems, is the polar plunge that will follow suit as we head into early next week. And that's going to be for a large swath, predominantly the central United States, but then also extending down to the Red River Valley. We're thinking Texas and Oklahoma. And so with this additional snowpack, you get colder air to move over that. And with the effects of albedo, Tony, don't laugh. With the effects of that, right, you then get that colder air to be enhanced. So why I'm bringing this up is because we've already been forecasting for the polar plunge, for wind chills to be possibly anywhere between -25 to -30 across the central U.S. as we head into the early next week portion. But what I'm trying to really get at here is that with a increased snowpack, with the overperformance of these systems, we're likely going to see colder temperatures than what the model's outputting. So
what makes you think about what makes you why do you think that other than why do you think that, like, what are some of the, I know there's going to be a high pressure system moving in pretty shortly, but you're mentioning that snow is because of the snow cover it could be colder. Like, what's the thinking behind that? Is it like is it like albedo or something like that?
Exactly. Yeah. So with albedo, right, you increase your snow depth. And for folks watching, I'll just kind of give you a debrief on albedo. Essentially what we're saying is when during the day, when you have incoming solar radiation, you have all these different interactions with the surface, whether it be a blacktop or a sidewalk or grass, in this case, snow. And so when we talk about albedo, it's the idea that when you have incoming solar radiation, that surface that the incoming solar radiation is reacting with is going to absorb that, but then also reflect some of it back up.
All right.
And so because of snowfall, it tends to have, and I always get it sort of inverse, but it's really kind of a higher albedo, meaning that it's going to radiate more than it does absorb. And so because of that extra factor at the surface could enhance some of the colder temperatures by about a few degrees.
Yeah.
So if we're right now seeing, for example, The negative 25 wind chills across the Midwest forecasted for that Monday, Tuesday morning time frame. It could be even pushing closer to negative 30, right? We're very close to that threshold.
Oh,
So
yeah.
either way, regardless of how much snowfall we had tonight or not, it's still going to be pretty darn cold across the central U.S. So that will be something to, of course, watch as we head into next week.
Absolutely. We also have someone. We also have someone. We brought him into the stream. We have Tristan, who's on. Tristan, first of all, how are you doing? And second of all, what are your thoughts on this winter weather? And then we'll get more. Then we'll get to some more of the stuff that I know you've been posting about behind the scenes and live no mic. First of all, what are your brief thoughts on the winter weather?
I am doing very well. I've been doing a lot of projects and stuff to help my mental mind. This is actually the best I've been in months, so
Congrats,
it's progress.
man.
It's doing well. I will say, first of all, it is very kind of surprising that Chicago decided to pull that off. Another thing, and I know this is not what we're talking about now. Washington D.C. has already issued an enhanced risk for a winter storm on day 6. That's not normal.
Wait, for
So
what?
I've been watching.
Wait, hold on. Could you elaborate on that? They issued a day 6 for
enhanced risk. It's a categorical scale. It's an enhanced risk of major impacts on day 6
for winter weather.
That's winter weather. Washington D.C., Baltimore,
Okay.
NWS. That's not normal. And the models have been trending a nor'easter. Some models are trying to do 2016 Jonas too early. But even meteorologists, someone by the name of Zach,
Okay.
that some of my friends watch,
All
has
right.
already done a weather alert day.
Yeah.
But that's in the future.
Yeah, I've been watching that, Tristan. I've been watching that.
Mhm.
I know it's a little early. My main concern is its impacts in the Midwest because that's closer. That's
Yeah.
closer, and that gives us a general idea of what we're looking at for now. Of course, I'm not saying that Northeast New England don't matter. Obviously, I'm just saying that right now it's a little early to talk about snow accumulations. Or a little early to talk about all this stuff might be happening. And we not only that, we're also watching this system that's currently moving through the Midwest right now. I've definitely been watching it. But go ahead.
I have not been paying attention to this one only because there is something else I've been keeping an eye on that
Yeah.
It's very worrying.
That's understandable.
So, and I got some thoughts on the enhanced risk, which might be interesting.
Yeah,
Because
are you guys willing to? Yeah, are you guys okay if we go ahead and pivot towards the severe weather threat for a little bit?
Yeah, there's no question. Yeah.
I've been wanting
Yeah.
to do it. I've been
All
wanting
right,
to
let's
do
go
that
ahead
one,
and
actually.
let's go ahead and pivot over there, Tristan. What do you got?
let's skip that. Let's skip that real quick.
Mhm.
There's something more
Yeah.
pressing.
Sure.
If you are in the Paducah National Weather Service market, they have done a rare, particularly dangerous situation, flash flood watch.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I saw
yeah.
that.
That.
Wow.
And I'm in that area, so.
Flash flooding. The
Yeah,
last time we
I'm-
saw a flooding on a high risk on the eastern part of the U.S. was during Helene. Some of the same states
Yeah.
that are going with recovery are in this risk.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's very problematic. I will say that right
Yes.
there. We
And
also
that-
have
and
flood
I
warnings
can-
for parts of the Ohio
uh,
River too, over there in near Paducah.
Yep.
Paducah has put in there, and I want to read this because it's been a while since I've seen this text.
Sure.
They say rainfall is expected to begin before the dawn Saturday, increasing in intensity throughout the day. Thunderstorms are then expected to form in the late morning
Yeah.
and persist through the evening. A large area of 4+ inches of rainfall is forecast. This region should prepare for an unusually dangerous and impactful flood event. What? Significant and widespread flash flooding caused by excessive rainfall continues to be possible. This is a particularly dangerous situation.
You do not want to see that with flooding.
They
Absolutely.
didn't
Wow.
even do that with
Or with
Helene.
any
That's
type
what
of
makes
severe
it
threat.
I don't think they did this. Did they do this on Helene?
No, they did not.
I don't think they did for the watch. Tristan, I think they did for the warning.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
Helene.
scarier.
But that's still, yeah.
Yeah, Radar Bolt,
If
I
you
saw
are
it.
in this flash flood watch in the moderate and high risk,
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get
you
to that in a
need
sec.
to take your precautions If you're around rivers or lakes, and you need to, and this is the common phrase we say, turn around.
Is someone talking behind this? Is someone talking behind the scene?
Yeah, somebody's hot mic. I'll check it
Sunny.
out.
I think it's Sunny. I think it's
All right,
I think
I'll-
it's
Yeah,
Sunny.
got him.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I'll
Can't
take-
exactly go anywhere else and get.
Yeah.
mute him.
I
There we go.
turned down a bit.
All right, he's good. Go ahead.
But again, turn around, don't drown, don't drive, and please do not drive in low-lying areas
Yeah.
during this. This is, and the flooding is part of the severe weather event. It is part of the
Yes, it
setup.
is.
So, if you are in that area of the flash flood watch, you need to take it seriously because
Yeah.
it is not common to have a PDS flood watch.
No,
I've been looking-
No.
Now, I've been
sorry.
looking at the models for the severe weather,
Sure.
and there's multiple things to take note.
Yeah.
There is a issue with the severe weather, and I'm gonna mention something.
All right. Go
On
ahead.
the
While
one
you're
hand-
doing that, I'm gonna pull up something Radar Bolt just sent me, and
Okay.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna open it real
Okay.
quickly. How do I? Okay. How do I? Okay, open in browser. All right. Yeah, this is the jet that we're looking at, the forecasted jet. Right
The jet.
here, I'm pulling right up right here. We're seeing a massive jet streak from Ohio all the way down to Alabama right here. This is modeled from the NAM, but I wanted to highlight this to you guys. Check severe weather discussion if you want to take a
Yeah.
closer look at it.
Yes.
That is very concerning, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again. This is this doesn't look like it's going to be as much cape driven as it is shear driven, and that's very worrisome.
Actually, that's what I wanted to talk about
Yeah, go
because
ahead.
there have been some alarming uptrends.
Mhm.
First off, Cape has increased a bit,
All right.
so let's get that out now. Now, Cape, the warm sector has grown a little bit more north and a little bit wider too.
Okay, that's
So now we got the
concerning.
wide warm sector. Here is the catch, however.
Okay.
The models keep indicating, and this is the one thing that might limit tornado potential. That's why there's been such a question of supercells.
Yeah.
The confluence bands are set up along the northern Mississippi to western Tennessee, and then there's another area of some prefrontals possible along central Louisiana moving east.
Yeah. I'm
Here's your
looking at it
question.
right here on the HER.
Here's your question. How fast is your cold front versus the direction of the supercells? That will tell us what will happen tomorrow.
Oh yeah, for sure. What I'm looking
Now-
at right here, the 0Z HER is out, Tristan. In case you didn't see, at least enough to
I'll
get a
look
general
at
gist
it.
of it.
It's
Take,
not always. I'm looking at it right now.
yeah.
In fact, I got my TV up right now looking at it.
All right, that's good. I'm looking at this right now. It looks like the confluence, those bands form in Texas, Arkansas, and extreme northwestern Louisiana near Shreveport. So we'll have to see how that pans out. I just figured I'd mention that to you.
But
Go ahead
here's
and
the
continue.
here's the interesting thing, Pat.
Sure.
There are two sides of this where you can say, "Oh, it will stay enhanced." There's another side that will say it will go moderate.
Yeah.
On the one
I
hand,
agree.
if more prefrontals develop, or if the QLCS is better at tornado producing than initially realized, we could have a moderate. Because here's a good example. December 28th last year,
Yep.
only 2 supercells formed. Everyone thought it failed. And it suddenly went 45% normal on us
Mm-hmm.
with
Yep.
all those QLCS tornadoes. But on the other hand, it's a very interesting because I watch Convective Chronicles. Amazing dude, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
The
Great
line
dude.
is
Great dude.
linear.
What's up?
The line is kind of more linear, but
Oh,
it
yeah.
also shows comma head features. So it's a very confusing situation. Do you go for the moderate? Do you stay in and hit? Now, I think 30 sig win would be the right call here.
Let me
Yeah.
That QLCS is
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
in
30 sig
structure.
wind, I could definitely see that, especially if that squall
Yep.
line is stronger than anticipated.
Then the question becomes, what about the tornadoes? Because you have a weird case of your warm sector got better, but your confluence bands is too close to the cold front. Your trough got better, but it's still aligned with the cold front. So I wonder where Brendan's opinion on this is, but it's a very tough call on the tornadoes right now.
I would
Yeah.
like to mention that.
Brendan, what?
can I talk? Sorry. Oh,
Who wants to talk?
I mean,
All right, go ahead,
I
Rockets.
can. Okay. I could probably demonstrate why the Confluence Band are not doing better, even though the Trough is doing better. I think the inversion, the dry air that limited last event is here present too, and it's probably gonna maybe limit that event to at least like moderate hatched. It might not even do anything, just because of that 700 millibar inversion.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's still there, but the NAM had it that last event, and it killed the it killed the Louisiana supercells. Of course, Mississippi popped off, but that's
Yeah.
But
that's
the
my that. I'm sorry.
Oh, go
Rockets,
ahead.
go,
Finish. I can go for
Yeah.
once.
Rockets,
That's
do you
my
have more to
main.
say?
I just have one more thing, and
Go ahead,
you
go ahead.
guys can go. That's my main concern with this event. Again, that's
But
like,
here's
will
the-
it will. All right, you can go. No, you can go, Tristan. You can go.
Okay.
But here's the question: even though there's a 700 inversion, this is where it gets complicated with the tornado threat. The shear and the QLCS can just spam, and we all know comma heads are capable of EF2 plus tornadoes.
Yeah.
Any threat of a prefrontal that matures will also be a cyclic threat. See, now we're starting to get into the questions and the confusion.
Yeah. I'm
What do we
looking.
do?
Yeah. While you're doing that, I'm looking at the RAPS 21Z trough placement just to kind of see what we're looking at. Yeah, this is going to be a bit of an issue. The shear is definitely stronger than what we would have liked to see. The Cape's catching up to it as well. The main question is how fast is that cold front going to move through, and how far north is the snow going to be in order for this to really get to its full potential? That's the main
And-
question I have. Go ahead.
Pat, I want Brendan to kind of, if he can, I don't know.
Yeah,
if
I'll
he wants
get to him
to.
in a second,
I-
but Kitten goes crazy. Do you want to add something to this?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So speaking on the shear, I was looking at the 0Z HRRR, and I'm noticing in some sections of like, especially like later on in the day, Saturday,
Mhm.
we're getting like up to 70 knots of surface to 6 kilometer shear.
70
Oh
knots.
my
So
God.
yeah, up to 70 knots
Wow.
in some locations. It's quite crazy.
That's for
Um,
for any type
that
of
more than
any
last night?
severe weather. That's pretty concerning. But for especially in February, that is
So,
wow.
shear is pretty dominant in February and trade for low Cape. These values don't surprise me as much.
Yeah.
In a way, especially with the way the trough is, it would you would expect maybe with a neutral trough to have some good amounts of shear, but it's not really dominant in a way too. It's kind of a weird situation.
Yeah.
Brendan, what are your thoughts on the severe weather? Like I
Yeah.
explained,
Go.
the
Yeah.
confluence bands are too close. We
Mhm.
don't know where the cold front is, but then prefrontals can form. It's kind of confusing.
Yeah.
I would
for
think.
sure. All right, Brendan, go ahead and give your thoughts on this.
Yeah, well, so there was a lot of. I definitely wanted to say I agree with everybody's take on it thus far, and it's a broken record with the golf, right? This has been something that we always talk about. It's timing and precipitation in the morning, right? Or confluence bands. It's just welcome to a golf severe weather setup, like every time for the most
Yeah.
part. But the thing to consider, and I think it was a great call out by the gentleman before me who was talking about the 0 to 670 knot shear.
Yeah.
That's
Kitten
critical,
goes crazy.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And so to me, we have to also remember that I think a lot of times it's easy for us to get caught up in the structure. It's easy for us to go, okay, well, are we going to have supercell development, which is important, right? Especially for golf setups, because that can really have a significant role in the overall event itself. But if we're going to be talking about, more of this QLCS setup, I mean, remember, from a climatological point of view, this is an area that is heavily susceptible to QLCS-induced tornadoes.
Yes.
So when I see 0 to 6, I mean, now granted, I'm just taking one variable here, right? But if we take the whole environmental setup as it is, I would make the argument, and I think my biggest concern is when we go to tomorrow, how many of those are going to be prolific tornado producers in the line? The big question to me, which a lot of folks have highlighted in this conversation, is the timing of the front. If this front moves too fast and at the wrong time, that could really kill the event.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's really what this comes down to. But if we get the timing to match up, which I know is such a broken record in meteorology, timing is really everything in any event. But if we really get the timing to match up here, My biggest concern is the QLCS tornado producer. That could be a
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
Right? Minus any supercells that forms in the open sector itself.
Yeah,
So-
But
while you're
I
talking,
would also like to say here that the damage you win to QLCS tornadoes would actually be a threat too. Even if the tornadoes fail, what about the trees going down on mobile homes? It's dark to Southwest Forest. You're gonna have to see it.
Exactly.
okay,
That's
this
true.
is interesting. Sorry to cut you off, guys, but I just pulled up a rap sounding for 21Z tomorrow near the Louisiana-Mississippi border. The Cape is around 2,000. The shear at surface to 1 kilometer is 33 knots.
Oh, that's
Oh
not
my
good.
God.
The
That's
SRH
not
is
concerning.
at 211 at 1 kilometers. For
And
those of
gentlemen-
you who don't know what
gentlemen, has-
SRH is, that's not. Let me explain it this way. If you see 211 at surface to 1 kilometers, that's typically what you don't want to see if you don't want severe weather. I'll just put it at that to simplify everything. What's curious
is
though
some-
is the surface to 6 kilometer shear on this sounding is 36 knots. So it's 33 to 36, and it does appear more directional.
Hmm.
So we'll see what happens. But
What's
I
what's
will-
the 700 millibar look 700 dryer looking like on that sounding? Because I've not checked the wrap at all.
yeah, let me go ahead and
I
open
actually
it
got
into a new
press to
tab
read
just to
that,
do that
actually.
and copy this. Check live.
I gotta
mode, Mike,
wait
I'll
to
show it to you
read-
guys.
I got a way to beat the dry air.
There you go. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead and take a look at the sounding real quickly.
I got data from Jackson, Mississippi.
Yeah.
If you want to go to the link I said in No Mic, it is the Storm Prediction Center soundings that they do every so often.
Okay.
This is the 00D soundings that just came out somewhat.
All right. I'll take a quick peek.
There's one in Jackson. There's one in New Orleans.
Yeah,
There's one in Birmingham.
I'm looking at the Jackson one right now. There's definitely some dryness around 600, 550 millibars. I'm looking.
Lapse rates is about, what is that at the surface? 4.0 kilometers Celsius per
Ooh.
kilometer.
Yeah.
That's
For a
rough.
night.
That's like the
Yeah,
the
but
the
it's the
directional
night
shear is
before-
crazy though. We're at 90
Yeah.
degrees.
Yeah, that's true though. It might be enough. It'll depend though. It'll be close. Like last time we had that storm. Sorry, I had to interrupt. But when we had the last time with that storm, we had decent lapse rate, but we saw the dry air. But the what's it called? The jet stream came in and enhanced during the nighttime. It was just enough to produce probably strong tornadoes. We'll have to see the
And
Yeah.
that's the thing that I want to point at. And this is what happens. People won't get tornadoes during the afternoon while you see in the plains. And everyone will say in Dixie is a bust event until you get the nighttime when the low-level jet strikes.
Mhm.
When that low-level jet strikes, you got to run.
Oh,
Can I-
Because we
Wait,
have
okay,
seen...
I'm going to interject a second, real quick. Hey, Tristan. So, okay, Kitten, was it you that mentioned the dryer?
No, I was
that was
the
me. That was me.
I was the shear.
That was you.
me.
Okay, sorry, my bad.
That was me.
What level are we talking on the dryer?
about,
I don't remember. It was it 700
about
700 millibars
we
and
were looking at
500?
the 700 for the 700 millibar level
To
for dry
500?
air.
Yeah.
700. Okay. Because the one thing is that consistent throughout. Like, is that just one area, or is that consistent in multiple areas?
I get you from Louisiana.
Okay,
New
so much-
Orleans,
so much-
Louisiana,
I'm looking
it's at
New
the
Orleans.
600 there.
Oh,
There's not much
air's
dry-
definitely drier in New Orleans. That
All right.
yeah, that drop off is at around
The-
700 in NOLA.
And what
And
time
in
is that at?
Jackson, it's starts around 650, 625.
All right.
Night. Okay.
Okay.
Well, so here's this is my concern, because if I'm thinking correctly, just purely on a straight line wind threat, ideally you wouldn't want dryer, because that's going to ruin the and guys, please clean me up on this. I believe it's called entrainment.
Yeah.
I think that's the concept, which we won't get into. Clean me up offline if I'm wrong on that
All right.
definition. But the idea that, again, you got that rain cooled air that does help with cold pooling,
Yep.
which then help to create sort of the outflow itself. If you got too much dry air entrainment here, that I wonder if that limits the wind potential a bit.
You're right.
I hope so.
Well, but I want to be careful though, because we have to also remember this is a very strong cold front. So what I'm ultimately
Yeah.
trying to say, it would likely limit the cold pooling or sort of these Boeing kinks within the line if we have too much dry air entrainment. But the cold front itself within the broader line should still be able to produce, I would think, up to at least severe weather threshold winds. But I'm just wondering if it limits the local potential of any stronger winds beyond that 60 to 70 threshold.
Yeah.
Does that make
Well,
sense, guys? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
The
Yes,
structure,
yes, yes.
yeah, hammerhead features along the line. They can suddenly enhance that a little bit and ignore that dry air.
Actually, Fancy, I do want to ask you something.
Sure.
We'll just
Do you think it's a good idea
discuss
to
it
really
mostly, but yeah.
wait to see
Those are morning soundings. Yeah.
what the morning observations is going to show?
Oh, of course. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I mean, the dry air component's critical, right? I think that's
Yeah.
really the basis of the conversation right now. So absolutely. And, you know, that also for the Gulf too, it's so important because if you look back to any severe weather event in the Deep South over these last several years, it ultimately does come down to that. And the SPC has that same mindset too, Tony. You know, right now, I don't expect them to pull a moderate until we see what the morning ops show. That has always been the approach of the SPC for as long as I can remember, especially if we're talking about the conversation of a categorical upgrade.
Yeah.
And especially because, Tristan's talked about confluence bands, we've talked about dry air, and all the other different components of this setup. You really don't have an opportunity to know that until the morning, especially in analyzing not just the soundings, Tony, but the clearing too. If we were to, let's say, have an open sector, right, that changes the
Right.
game too. If we were to have less dry air, well, now we're having a conversation about even locally higher damaging wind gusts possible with some of those Boeing kinks. And even, of course, as we saw with Cape, we're seeing Cape uptrend now on the models. If we're seeing that on our observed soundings with our Cape doing well and performing as expected, our Hodos doing well with some of the veering components, then now we're having a conversation about more embedded soups, right? So a lot of these questions that we have tonight, yes, they will likely be answered in tomorrow's morning observations.
Yeah.
What about the?
What?
Has anybody looked at the convection coming off of the Gulf?
Let me look at
That-
that.
That's kind of what we were
yeah.
talking about.
Yeah, we're kind of, yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm
It's
seeing it.
the-
I know what you're talking
yeah.
about, Tony.
Tristan was
SPC
kind of
Oh,
touching on that, yeah.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
FCC said that they might actually put an enhanced risk for part of southern Mississippi, Alabama, the Florida Panhandle, and Louisiana because of some prefrontal supercell / some confluence coming from the Gulf. That's actually also seen on the HRRR model really well. So yes, we're watching that too. Actually, Pirate.
Yeah, I wanted to get to that because that was something I noticed on there that I think we might get some stuff over there in Louisiana
Yeah.
ahead of all this.
Yeah.
Position right now for any good supercells would be I southern Mississippi to central Louisiana in some way, or that confluence area that develops between Memphis, Tennessee, and Tupelo, Mississippi.
Mhm.
At short term, that would be your best chance for strong tornadoes. And then you go into the comma heads along the line later on, plus any prefrontals that are able to use the sector well.
Yeah.
I
For
think
sure.
that's your best chance for strong tornadoes.
Yeah, I've been watching it as well. I will say if that does happen, we continue to see that those signs pop up in the HER with what the 0Z HERs going forward. I am very concerned for this because not only actually I want to check something real quickly. I didn't catch this. I know it's a bit arbitrary to look at this right now, but I want to take a look at the supercell composite and the SIG-TOR parameter just to kind of get a general gist as to
Ooh.
kind of what's going on. Okay, that's
They're high.
it's really
yeah.
the HER's really blowing up the supercell composite across southern Tennessee, Arkansas, and Mississippi. That's
But
interesting.
again, here's the
Well,
question:
and also,
what would conditions
if I-
really be
yeah.
if the people goes too fast?
I want to see this precip.
I want to even make a comment too as
Sure.
you're going through that, Pat.
Yeah.
With Tor parameter, especially,
Yeah.
recall for those folks watching and for those in the call, we are emphasizing it's pretty shear heavy.
Yes.
parameter.
Oh,
right?
absolutely. It
I
is.
believe it also
Yeah,
does take
yeah.
into account Cape. It does. It does take into account Cape, but it's taking into account a lot of low-level processes with your helicity and your shear.
Yep.
So if we have a high shear, if we're expecting a high shear environment, we would expect the SIG-TOR to be high, right, for the most part, because that's going to skew it. I'm just saying, I mean, again, good call out, Pat. I just want to make that point that, you know, especially these parameters in a high shear, low cape environment, we got to be really careful because they're going to be elevated. Doesn't necessarily mean we're going to see EF5s.
No.
We're not expecting
I-
any SIG-TORs themselves,
I
right? Or
agree with that
EF4s.
generally. I'm just looking at that just to kind of get a comparison to the 12Z and the 18Z.
Sure. No, I get you.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
to take
exactly.
a look at it and see what the parameters are looking like. Okay, this is interesting right here. It seems that at least compared to the 12C, they have downtrended a little bit the SIG-TOR and Supercell composite. But considering we're seeing some developments with more moisture coming off the Gulf, with all these bands forming, it's going to be very tough. I do think that if they issue a moderate, this is a very big if, it's not going to be for tornadoes, but mainly straight line winds. And the reason why is because you're looking at this type of system that we're looking at. It's organizing and developing. This is not exactly the most favorable for long-tracked supercells unless they move and strike early, like 2:00 in the afternoon. So that they start developing, and they start developing over Louisiana and Mississippi. This is going to be very squall heavy right here. Not saying tornadoes are not going to be a risk. They absolutely are, especially those embedded cells that Brendan and Tristan were talking about previously. But this is going to be, if they do issue a moderate risk, it's going to be more for straight line winds than for tornadoes. But hey, I could wake up tomorrow and I could be completely wrong about that. This is just my conjecture right here. What are your guys' thoughts of that?
The problem would be for the moderate for damaging winds that they always like to go SIG, even though in this situation,
Sure.
especially with the dry air Brendan talked about,
Yeah.
I would rather have the damaging wind. What is that moderate that it was, let me see what wind. The moderate would be a 45 normal, right? No, it wouldn't be. It would be
No, right?
that would still be an enhanced, but you know what I would, in this situation, I would go 45 normal because the dry air might limit more significant damaging winds.
Yeah.
But because of the system, we might go for the widespread 60 to 70.
The
Mhm.
only reason why I disagree is because ultimately it comes back to the cold front. If they were to go, you know, sort of a higher risk for
That's
wind, it
true.
would be a SIG and a higher probability. So, you know, I want to, I guess, maybe clarify, Tristan, for what I'm trying to get at here is, you know, the dry air would really limit the localized potential of enhanced winds other than what the cold front's going to be able to provide, right? So broadly speaking, it would make sense to go SIG here just from the cold front strength itself and the wind vectors there, right?
That's true.
You know, 60 to 70 is certainly not out of the question, but you know, I'm really talking about the danger of any sort of localized Boeing segment embedded within the line that would produce locally higher values, right? 80 plus, right? That's what I'm concerned about. And especially as we talk about an area like Mississippi, highly vulnerable to wind. I think the SBC, I would think, would want to make clear to folks that are already incredibly vulnerable to straight line winds themselves that, hey, this is a significant risk. And of course, let me be clear, the SBC does not forecast on vulnerability, but I think it would just make sense from a communication point of view and also based on the criteria just to pull the SIG anyway if we were to upgrade the categorical for wind.
Hate to interrupt you guys, but I thought I'd tell you that it's snowing pretty heavily in my area.
I bet.
Wait, what?
Oh wait, it is.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah,
let me
go
check.
outside. Yeah, it's.
Keep it.
What's your general area?
I'm not going to say
know.
specifically,
Like
but it's
general.
outside of
Yeah,
Chicago.
Yeah. General. Oh, okay. Okay. I was just wondering. Yeah. I do the same thing. I was just wondering in general.
Yeah. But holy crap.
Nice.
Um,
Oh yeah. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I literally just checked the radar. I'm like, oh my gosh, wow, it's snowing a lot.
Yeah, you can keep that, Pat. We have enough in New Jersey.
Oh, no, you don't,
Oh,
Tony.
wow.
Get out of here.
Okay. All right. So
Yeah,
in the meantime, all right. So in the meantime, though, we talked about severe weather. Ultimately, the big question I have for you guys is, what do you think is going to the SPC going to do? And I know it's a little arbitrary and it's a little bit not. I wouldn't say it's the best practice to kind of predict what the SPC is going to do, but it's Valentine's Day. I want to have a little bit of fun with it. What do you guys think the SPC is going to do?
Keep it.
I do think that the damaging wind threat will either do two things. One, it will be a much larger 30% because that line is just amazing on the models. A lot of models have one of a really good line,
Yeah.
or they're just going to do maybe 45 because, like Brendan said, communication, and plus you never know with the cold front, and that's not even counting for what if the dry air goes away a bit tomorrow and the line is able
Exactly.
to do
Yeah.
straight line. Another damaging straight line wind that is technically not severe, SPC won't count for this, but I like to count for this,
Sure.
is the wake lows that might form behind our mesoscale lows that develop. Kind of like an MCS, that can happen.
All right.
So there's multiple, and James Mann said, in saturated ground like we're going to have tomorrow, it only takes 40-mile-per-hour winds to knock a tree down
Yeah.
and cause
That's-
damage.
yeah.
Good point.
In saturated
Mhm.
grounds, absolutely.
Yes. So
I
and
think that-
areas in Kentucky and Tennessee will have that problem, Pat, because you have a high risk of flooding that's to enhance.
Mhm.
So I mean, they're gonna have tree and power line problems tomorrow.
What's up, Tony?
You know what? Since it's Valentine's Day, I'm just going to throw it out there. I think they're going to show us some love tomorrow and give us a moderate.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Okay.
I'm thinking wind driven for
Uh,
everything. It's just, the wind is
I think
really the
the-
big
Oh,
factor
I think
in
the-
all
let
this.
Kitten go. Let Kitten talk. Go ahead.
Sorry. Yes.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I think anything that they do issue is going to be wind driven. But again, as mentioned earlier, it's all going to depend on morning observations.
Absolutely.
So-
Those 12Z ops will be very
Yeah.
important.
So,
Yeah.
but honestly, if they do enhance to moderate, I think it'll be wind driven more than anything.
I agree.
Yeah, and I'll also agree with that, Pat. I mean, pretty much echoing the sentiment that I had before. I'll also just make kind of another comment too. I think actually Tristan brought up a really good point about what James Spann mentioned. Don't be surprised, folks, because I want to get ahead of this story, Pat.
Sure.
Don't be surprised if when this wind event does take place, just talking wind by itself, that we see a ton of wind damage reports on the SPC page in areas even outside of the enhanced. And it's because it will not take much to blow down these trees. So before anybody says, oh, it didn't verify, well, hold on a minute. A lot of these trees, especially wind damage, if there's already been rain prior, right, you would then it wouldn't take much to blow down these trees, like Tristan said. So don't be surprised, folks, if that happens. And don't be
Yeah.
quick to jump down the SPC's throat, because there's likely a reason as to why they're so outside the enhanced. So
Yeah.
just want to make that comment. Otherwise, yes, I'm actually going to go ahead and say that this event stays enhanced. I actually don't think they will upgrade the moderate. That's just more of a, me being a hypothetical guess. I think that the dry air will be present, but I also think that, to me, it's tough. I think they just keep the enhanced, and
Yeah.
if anything, they'll leave. I think they have a 10 sig tour guys right now, technically, right? Is that
Yeah,
correct?
10 sig.
10 sig tour. They'll probably leave that. But yeah, I'm just gonna say enhance. I don't think they upgrade it.
Yeah. In the meantime,
Oh,
we
so-
actually got some new viewers here in the stream. Thank you for joining. Be sure to like the video, the stream, and subscribe to the channel if you are new. We're going to be continuing to talk about the severe weather and the winter weather that is going to be coming in the next few days. But Brendan, did you want to add anything else?
No, that was it.
Okay. All right.
So basically, Brendan, we're not going to get any love out of the SPC.
You're going to get enough love, and unfortunately, it's going to be some tough love from the SPC, because I certainly know that the Gulf and folks down there certainly don't want to feel any love from the SPC, because it usually means severe weather is going to happen.
Yeah, so,
so-
I take a look at the end of
I
her.
will say that
I'm
though,
assuming it's
scattered
for
to neutral
Florida. Yeah,
damage
you're
is-
gonna looks like you're gonna get a line of thunderstorms. I don't think it's gonna be severe unless you're in the Panhandle, maybe Gainesville, north, or like further south. I'd say is like Orlando, but that's about it. Someone was talking about that because there's some Florida people here. But go ahead.
Yeah, I would even say the Panhandle. To kind of echo what Pat said.
Yeah, I think
You know,
Gainesville realistically is the
Orlando,
furthest
like
south the severe threat
yeah, the
goes.
further south you go. Yeah, I mean, we could have some. I think it's going to be mostly limited to some of those, sea breeze, popcorn thunderstorms for Orlando, or maybe some residual,
Mhm.
breakup of the line above it. But I would say for folks in the Panhandle, Panama City, like you said, up towards Gainesville,
Mhm.
I would
Am
definitely keep an eye on the weather.
Am I crazy or do I see something that no one pointed out? Hold on, let me.
You can
I'm
take
gonna
a quick
make.
look at
Take your
that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and give my prediction because I haven't yet. I'm gonna go on the conservative side and say they stay enhanced for two reasons. Yes, the Cape is better, but and the shear is definitely looking better. But depends on the cold front and how fast it's going to be moving through, and it also depends on how far north the cyclone develops. And right now, I'm not confident that the cold front's going to really slow down that much for anything discrete to happen. And I also think that there's going to be too much dry air entrainment based on all the data I've looked at for it to really warrant anything more than a 30 sig. So ultimately, I'm staying enhanced with that. The other reason is because, like I said, the cyclone development and where that rain snow line is, because this is all intertwined right here. This is a very big cyclone that we're talking about. I don't think the rain snow line is going to be moving that far to the north to the point where more of Tennessee is going to get in the line of fire. More of other areas in the upper south are going to be in the line of fire for this either. And the reason I mention this is because ultimately what you want is you want that as much Gulf moisture as possible to get into that area of severe weather. And yes, there's still going to be a lot of it, but is it going to be enough to really warrant anything more than a 30 sig? I don't think so. But hey, I could wake up tomorrow and eat my own words for that. So, well, you never
And,
know with these things. What's up?
There's some new information that might have already said "eat your words." Unfortunately,
Okay.
I'm looking at
Wait,
the
what?
Weather Prediction Center, and remember how we said the cold front was going to be fast?
Yeah.
At 00Z, it's still in Arkansas, and there's now a mesoscale low in Texas, a mesoscale low in
Yeah,
Arkansas,
I'm looking at the surface
and a low
analysis.
that helps confluence in the Tennessee-Arkansas border going into eastern Texas. The cold front is not as fast on the Weather Prediction Center. If you look on the SPC, Brendan, you can correct me on
I
this.
don't even
Doesn't
see
it
a
look
cold
little
front
more
on
in forecast?
WPC. I don't even see it.
It already looks a little bit more negative tilted than what the models want.
Oh, good point. Because sorry I had to interrupt, but the NAM looks. Wait, never mind. I thought the NAM took a more negative to the trough on the 0Z, but it looks about
HRR
the
did
same.
too.
I don't.
And
Wait
the
a minute.
Alright, well-
Yo, hold on. Sorry, I'm looking at the WPC surface analysis right now. There's not a cold front in Arkansas. It's in Oklahoma,
No,
Texas, and New
the
Mexico.
future cat. The 00Z Sunday.
Futurecast.
I'm looking at the
Oh,
the
0C Sunday. Oh, you're looking at the
Yes.
modeling. Okay, my bad.
I'm looking at the fronts part. That's the surface analysis. And the cold front still looks a little slow. It does. That's interesting. It highlights the confluence area really well too.
I'm
I
checking
wonder if
this
prefrontals will have a better
compared to 12C.
chance. I wonder. We'll see. I don't like when a cold front slows down and they want prefrontals. No. That's normally a bad sign.
Oh, this is
Oh.
an issue right here. This is an issue. I'm looking at this right now. It looks like the cold front has slowed down just a little bit. Little
That might
things
be
like
enough.
that, at least according to her,
Make
little
a
things like
Big
that
difference.
are a bit can make
Mhm.
huge differences.
Yep.
That's a problem.
Yeah, it's not just the her, it's on the SPC too. The
Yeah.
SPC, I'm looking at the upper error, the 500 millibar analysis. Looks a little bit more negative than what they wanted earlier.
Yeah.
Brendan, you could correct me on that. It looks a
Oh,
little more.
I agree with you. I'm nodding along. I agree.
He agrees. Yeah.
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 Mm.
No, I
Look,
agree, Tristan. I think, but again, no. Nothing really to add for me on that. I definitely concur with that. I guess the only thing that I would say is, Pat, as you said, these small changes can lead to significant
Consequences. Yeah.
significant changes in the forecast, right?
Yep.
So of course morning obs are still important. Nobody here is disagreeing with
No,
that.
of course not.
But these
Brandon, let's just
that
throw
is-
out the morning obs, man. We don't need those. Zero Z's fine.
Nah. Let's do the most sacrilegious thing in meteorology and let's just jump right into models.
Yeah.
Not even talk about the
Okay.
reserve. But I think, I'll tell you this, guys. There's, when I went to, and by the way, I graduated from NIU with meteorology degree
Nice.
this past year, as you all know. And the one thing that they teach for those folks watching in meteorology is the 20-minute rule, right? At least at NIU they did. I think Valpo does the same thing and other
Yeah.
universities across the country, where when you're doing a forecast discussion, the first 20 minutes, you are not allowed to jump into weather models. You need to talk about the observed, from the top
Yep.
down, from your upper level jet down to the surface. And if you do, they start throwing things at you if you jump right into the models. And it's the whole point of it is to not jump into the models. You have to look at the observed. Everything
fact.
that all folks have talked about tonight in this call, wonderful example of that, right? Notice we didn't jump into the models and I would say, Pat, I'll be careful with my words here because we are on a live stream.
Sure.
But for others out there that are communicating the weather on different mediums, there are folks that do have a habit of doing that, and you got to be careful because
Oh,
weather models
yeah.
are not they're not a silver bullet. They are not they do not tell the full picture. You really need to see the observe like we've done tonight. So I'll leave it at that.
Sure.
What I like to do, and I don't know if this is a good habit, is I like to compare the models to the Weather Prediction Center forecast and the analysis then.
Yep.
And I like to see satellite trends. That's
Yeah.
what I normally like.
Yep.
Absolutely, I agree with that 1000%. All right, so let me first check see if anyone's joined. No. Okay, before before we pivot and move on to another topic, is there anything else you guys would like to add with the severe weather threat?
There is convection already developing across the Mississippi and Louisiana. They're little popcorn storms.
Yeah.
I don't know
Oh.
if that's really small.
Yeah, I've been watching those on satellite and radar.
I wish I could see an updated analysis to see if the warm front is a little more north than forecasted. But I don't know. We can use surface observations, right? That's what Convective Chronicles does. Hold on a second. So the warm front.
Oh, by the way, hey Tristan, real quick, I want to just get in this too. This is kind of a side comment, but Pat, actually, to everybody in the call, have you noticed that the European model has been messing up the last couple days? It's
Yeah.
actually been out. Okay,
Yep.
so just be mindful of that. If you're anybody looking at the European model, it's correcting itself these last couple runs. Be very careful. Take it with a
I've
grain
been
of salt.
looking at
I
that,
don't know.
especially for the
Okay.
winter weather next week. But the
Oh,
GFS
gosh.
is also starting to kind of ramp up and agree with it. So that's
Yeah. That's a good point, Pat, because I think there was some memes going around of man, the Euro woke up from its slumber and chose death for the Northeast. So it was down and then now it's printing a nor'easter. So
For sure.
I mean, yeah, But to your point, the GFS is
Start
showing it.
from the
But
bottom.
anyway,
Now it's here.
what's that?
Started from the bottom. Now it's here.
Yeah.
Started from the bottom. Exactly. Yeah, the Euro, man, it's just, that was funny. But yeah, so for the folks using the Euro, with weather models, especially when they're off by a day, even if the runs look good, just that's an important factor here. Give it a couple runs to get back on its saddle and then
Yeah.
see how it does. But that was just funny.
For sure.
That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
I'm going to mention another thing real quick. The
Sure.
HRRR does something very interesting. Right at 00Z to 060, it tries to do a embedded shortwave in central Mississippi. That's a development.
That's a little concerning.
If that run has that trended, that's the question I'm trying to ask.
You take a look at that. That is very interesting. If that's the case, then that might be a.
That's
Yep.
That's very concerning. So let me see. The developed shortwave develops in. Yeah, there is one. Let me check the run beforehand. Because consistency is what matters, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
By the way, can we
18Z?
agree that the gem RDPS is a little bit on drugs? They want -30 temperatures in North Dakota.
Without
What?
wind chill, like straight temperature?
Yeah, that's not wind chill.
Wait,
But
wait,
granted, this is on Monday
Yeah, I
night.
don't know about that one.
This is Monday night.
Yeah.
That
Can we
model's
agree that
always
this is
been
on
too
drugs?
cold, though.
Wait, hold
That
on a
model-
minute.
that
Is
model's
the
always been too
gem
cold, though.
RDPS, is that the ensemble?
That's a Canadian
Or is it-
run.
No, Canadian.
That's their
Oh,
short
it's the
range,
Canadian.
mid-range run.
Oh, it is. Ew.
Their
Okay.
long range is even worse.
Oh, I don't even want to
There,
look
yeah,
at
no,
that.
throwing
the long
it
range
down.
is so bad.
I would like to inform y'all that for the last 4 big runs, a shortwave has trended in central Mississippi during the night.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay,
Interesting.
keep an eye on that.
Okay.
definitely.
If
Yeah.
any prefrontals take advantage of that,
Yeah, that can change the game too. Good call out on that.
and here's the thing, I want to show an example to everybody here. Let's say it's just a QLCS and we get 1 shower in front, right, Brendan?
Yeah.
I think after seeing Rolling Fork, I think that 1 shower can be a concern.
Man.
Yep.
You can, you need, but you know what? My argument to that would be you gotta have the local environment be solid. Like you have to
Yeah,
have everything
that's
go
true,
right
though.
locally. And that I'm the one thing, and I guess that goes back to why I'm conservative on the enhanced, and so was Pat,
Yeah.
is because there's just, to me, too much uncertainty right now on various different fronts
Yeah.
that need to be resolved.
hmm
So if anything, I still think it stays enhanced, but hey, we'll see.
Yeah.
No, there have some small uptrends recently. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, after we're
Hmm.
Rolling Fork, let's not dismiss an environment during the day.
Oh, absolutely
Let's
not.
yeah.
Of course not.
Oh,
No,
absolutely,
no,
yeah.
you're right. Mm-hmm.
All right.
People did that. People did that. Not yesterday. The day before. Was it Wednesday? And then we had 2 PDS.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
seriously.
Yeah. For
Now,
sure.
I have a
Come
question to
on,
that,
people.
if I may. So, with the last event that we had, can somebody tell me, because I wasn't keeping track of it, was there anything unique to that one different than the one coming up on Saturday? Like any unique variables that made
The
the EDS
trough was a
situation?
bit
Okay.
better, but the warm front was shifted more south, as far as I
Okay.
know.
Yeah.
I see.
It was a way better orange. It wasn't like a bowling ball, well, not bowling ball trough, but it was like more like a short wave kind of,
Okay, the
instead of
NAM's
like a
coming
huge
out.
trough like this one.
And then the warm front was
NAM
situated more south, so everything was kind of like
Yes.
tapping into the warm front. Oh, okay, I got you. Okay.
I have
Yeah,
a question. Has the NAM trended on a shortwave? I'm going to check right now.
The NAM shows that second, like that frontal line that the HRRR is showing now on the 0Z. So
Yeah.
that could actually be a problem. That could be a problem.
The NAM also shows a shortwave in the same position the HRRR's been trending 4 runs. Let me check another one.
Interesting.
Oh, John's here.
Interesting.
Hey, we have. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, John is here. John, how are you doing?
Doing all right. How you doing?
Doing pretty good. Sorry to interrupt you guys. You guys go ahead and continue. I just figured I'd let everyone know you're here.
Yeah,
Nope,
so
it's
the
okay.
NAM and the HRRR have been trending a small shortwave development between 00Z and 06Z located in northern and central to southern Mississippi. And I wonder if that will not only help the tornado threat with any prefrontal, I wonder what that does to the comma head features that
Mhm.
we're doing with the dry air potentially, especially if we get much
Mm,
tomorrow.
that is true.
Yeah.
I wonder if the models are finally starting to tell us something that they couldn't tell us the last 2 days.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
Because that's the problem with winter events. They trend up the last second, you unexpect it, and then suddenly something bad happens.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why you pay attention.
Yeah, for sure. For
And
sure.
this can be-
Yeah, we'll have to see how that pans out. In the meantime, though, before I move on to what I want to get to next, Kitten Goes Crazy. You haven't had much airtime here on the stream tonight. What are your thoughts overall of this severe weather threat? What's your take on how this is going?
Honestly, I mean, everything that I have to say has already been covered here. It's just wind-driven stuff.
Sure. I just
Um,
figured I'd give you an opportunity since everyone else is
yeah.
talking. So
No, it's all good. It's all good.
yeah. Yeah.
So,
All right. With that being said, let's go ahead and move on to
Sorry.
what we're potentially looking at for starting on Monday and Tuesday, And John, I want to start with you because I know you've been watching this very closely. On top of watching this very closely, actually, before we get to that, John, what are your thoughts on what we're looking at tonight in terms of winter weather? I know we've been getting some questions talking about that.
Honestly, I'm looking at the system in Missouri. We could be getting some winter weather on the backside, particularly central and east central Missouri. I've been
Yeah.
keeping a close eye on that.
Yeah, I've been watching that too. I want to bring you in so we could talk about that. You were mentioning some stuff to me that you've been seeing with some models about parts of Missouri getting hit pretty hard by the backside of it. I wanted you to elaborate on that.
With how tight the isobars are and stuff, and I've been kind of looking at the models on windy as well. I mean, we could be seeing maybe gust up to 35, maybe some bands of heavy snow, maybe some snow squalls, but I guess we'll just wait and see what happens.
On the backside of this.
Yeah, this is on the backside.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at it. Looks like, based on the 0Z HER, from what I'm looking at, it looks like there's not really that much snow that happens until right at the end. Right at the end, I would say. I would say if your best chance if you want more snow, like for example, where I'm at, we're gonna get hammered by the backside of this, and especially if the lake effect kicks in. So we'll have to see how that pans out. But the HERS not doing that much. Let's look at the RAP.
It's gonna mostly start out as rain and then change to snow.
Yep, I'm
My
seeing
gosh.
that too.
Oh my! Oh.
What do you?
Sorry, I have to. Sorry. A huge uptrend on the backside snow for Sunday. From the NAM for Illinois. Huge uptrend. Like
What part are we talking? Like the east central Illinois
Oh.
area or southern?
Central to south.
Oh, I
big,
see
like,
that.
Big uptrend.
Oh, you're right. Wow,
Big uptrend. Huge. Like,
man.
Does
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to figure
Is
this
that
out.
the same system that I was talking about
Yes.
for
Yep.
for Missouri?
It is.
yeah, it is.
I'm looking.
And
Wow.
I'm gonna
trended-
look at. Oh, I see what's going on. It looks like the center, the low where the center is shifted a bit further to the south in the last run.
Oh.
That is interesting. I'm just gonna I'm gonna cross check this and verify it.
So would that be more like southern Illinois?
And
Yep,
Okay.
it's, especially compared to the 12C, it's definitely shifted further south. Oh yeah,
Oh,
Nice.
oh, that's interesting.
that's why.
Nice for me. Nice for me.
That's why. Now, granted, you're not going to see much snow because this is moving so fast, but things could get a bit dicier for a lot of areas
Yep.
in Missouri and Illinois and Indiana too. Actually, hold the phone. That puts Detroit in the line of fire too, in Michigan.
Oh.
Not saying this will happen, but it has the potential for like snow squalls and maybe blizzard conditions,
Yeah, we were
I
talking
would agree with
about
that.
Yeah.
especially with the winds coming in from the north on the backside of that.
Yep.
Wait, I have to check that. Let me
Yeah.
check that.
Okay, it looks like we're okay. Looks
Now,
like
I'm
we're
not
getting
saying
some more
that will
viewers
happen,
here.
but
Be
it
sure to
could
like the
happen.
stream.
No, I think that's a good call out.
Yeah.
What's up?
You're saying it was a good call to mention the wins.
Oh yeah, the winds are going to be
Yeah.
Not a lot of people talk about the winds, but yeah, dang, the pressure gradient force is going to be pretty powerful with this to allow this to really kick off. Like, look at that gradient in the NAM, guys. If you're watching my stream, we're looking at a pretty tight gradient. I would say like 1,010 from St. Charles all the way to like down to like less than 1,000 by the time you get to near Terre Haute. That's pretty.
All right, so
powerful.
I have a question. If maybe somebody could answer this in the group,
Mhm.
what are the SLRs for the Illinois, Missouri, Indiana one?
SLRs.
SLRs.
Yeah. Yeah, snow
Um,
liquid ratio. SLR.
Oh, liquid snow ratio.
Oh.
Let me take a quick look. I want to see.
I'm curious what the forecasted ratio is there too. And the only
I
reason
know
why I ask is
Kuchera,
because if
down
we're
there is 13 to 1. So yeah, I know
okay.
that's the
Wait.
typical. I don't know if there's more. I don't know.
I just worry about so 13 to 1. So if
That's
we
your
see it
typical,
even
though.
get up to like 15 to 1. Yeah, that's climatologically normal. Yeah, I just wanted to see to what ratio. I mean, we certainly could be talking about some blowing drifting if
Yeah.
we're looking at anything above a 10 to 1. Yeah, so that's concerning. You know, we got a lot of open areas down by
You also have
that
to take into
Missouri,
account
Illinois, Indiana
temperature
corridor.
as well. What's the temp going to be like when this
Yeah.
starts?
20 like 30 to 28.
It looks like
More-
yeah, it looks like
uh,
in those
Okay.
parts it's going to start out at the freezing line and it's going to get drier as it goes on, but by the time it leaves, it's only going to drop to 25. So this is going to be a very wet snow.
It is.
True.
Okay.
Your precipitable
Okay.
water is probably going to be, we're going to see a snow ratio of probably like 8 to 1 based on what I'm
Oh
seeing.
gosh. Okay. Well, then we're not
Yeah.
really talking blowing drifting. I mean, we
No.
could have reduced visibility for sure with that wind on the
No.
backside.
We're
But
looking
no.
at an
Okay.
8 to 1 snow ratio if this verifies.
Wow. Okay.
Now, this is for
The-
parts of Missouri. In other parts,
Yeah.
like maybe up in Michigan, maybe like more like 10, 12 to 1, but still.
The
But
good
NAM
news
wants
for
Detroit
sorry.
really to go from like 2 to 10 in the span of like 12 hours. Like
Wow.
that's not just there. It's also in that's like Ann Arbor as well. That's Oakland County, Macomb, all like the Detroit metro gets hit pretty hard. Same with Toledo and Ohio. So if that verifies what the NAM is doing, I would say like it would mean less impacts for Chicago, but more impacts for Indianapolis, St. Louis, Springfield, Toledo, and Detroit.
Yeah.
So more
Now, is
people
this
by and
the
large being
okay? I want to make
impacted.
sure I'm correct on this, Pat. Are we talking about? Is this Saturday or Sunday?
This
We're
is
talking.
this is starting. This is Saturday night going into Sunday morning.
Oh, yeah.
I see. Okay. Okay. Got it.
Yep.
Yep.
Interesting.
So that did
Yep.
shift south. Wow.
That's
Okay.
the NAM.
Yeah.
Oh, I want the NAM nest isn't okay.
The-
The NAM nest.
the-
Oh, the NAM nest is also shifted south.
Hey Pat,
Yeah,
Yep.
what's up?
is it just me or did the RAP, NAM, and HRRR all at 0-3Z have a shortwave in Mississippi and they show the confluence bands at the same position?
Oh, that's for the
Oh.
severe weather
wow.
threat.
Yep.
That's a sun agreement shift.
Mm.
especially with all three in agreement. I am
At the
concerned,
same
but at the same time, let's wait for the OBS to get a general
True.
idea.
But again, to not discredit Tristan on that.
No, I'm not
That is
discrediting
that
him
is-
for that. Of course not. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is that is very concerning if that verifies. But I want to see what the OBS are saying as well.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's what I was
I
trying
shouldn't
to
have
say.
said
Sorry, I didn't
discredit.
communicate
I
that
meant
clearly.
to not downplay.
No, I'm not
But-
trying to
but what I'm
downplay
saying
it.
is-
It's just
Yeah.
Okay.
there's just new information there, and I'm just trying to process it.
Sure.
So, yeah, my bad. My apologies, Tristan. Let me take a quick look. Let me take a quick look at that. Actually,
Like if you put all the models side by side, if you do the same timing at 500 millibars, they're almost the same, if not the same.
okay, I see what you mean. Okay, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at something you sent previously. Yeah, like which parameter are you using it for the models to find this?
I am using on all three of them the 500 millibar height wind knot.
Okay, I don't
Oh.
have that for the her on COD. I have 700, but I can do the 500 for the her. I have 500 millibar. What is it? You did?
Hold on, give me 1 second.
Yeah, is it wind speed, vorticity, temp? I'm just taking a quick look so that way I can kind of get an idea of what we're looking at. Regardless, though. Oh, the 0Z's out. Okay, this is interesting.
Name's out?
The 0Z wrap is out.
Oh. I gotta see that now. I gotta see that.
I need the. Oh, I see what you're. I
Name is
think I see what you're
50%.
talking about. Also, that trough is becomes more negatively tilted than what we were wanting. Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, it's. Let's see.
Oh yeah,
The
it's a
trough
little.
becomes a bit
It's
more
just a
negatively
little bit.
tilted.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about, Tristan. Hey, thanks for staying on top of that.
He left to do something.
Crap, that's a problem. That is a massive problem, if that verifies.
Yep, we'll see.
Oh, I see what.
We'll
I
see in
see
the morning.
you're showing this on stream. I got you. All right, let me go ahead and.
Yeah, Pat, this is very concerning.
Oh,
I don't like
yeah,
that.
that's I didn't originally. Okay, let me go ahead and open it on Discord.
And the Weather Prediction Center shows that too, huh? Let's go at the 0Z around
All right, here you go.
Sunday.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a problem.
Mm,
That might be a
That
problem.
all aligns very well.
yeah, if this is not a fluke run, this changes the game. So
No,
I'd
they've
say
been,
we'd
no,
be
HMR's been
looking at a
trending
better
this for a
moderate
few
chance at this point.
at this
Yep.
rate, yeah.
Oh yeah,
But we still have to consider the dry air and how much lift there will be.
Yeah,
as
true.
the
for sure.
Sure.
We got I wish we had OBS at 6Z. That would make things a lot easier to look at.
It would.
Mhm.
All right, that's all I wanted to show you. I'll get back on.
You good? You good? All right. Just wanted to make sure. I wanted to make sure you got that. So okay. Let's do that, and I'll go ahead and pivot. Thank you for pivot back to winter weather, so that way we can answer some questions and we can talk about what's going on next week. All right. So John, before we talk about the threat starting on Monday night and then going into Tuesday, would you want to add anything for what we're potentially looking at this weekend?
All I'll say is for severe weather, it's looking mostly linear right now. We could have a prefrontal or two.
Yeah.
We also got to watch the winter side of this as well, because that could that could cause an
The thing
impact
with
as
these
well.
winter storms is that it really like that's what everyone pays attention to is the snow, and the severe weather gets underplayed quite a bit. So we need to be on top of that.
Yeah, but it is concerning that all the
I
models.
would like to add.
I
I would like to add that all the models have trended south with the snow. It's not just the NAM. The 21 Wrap shows Southern Illinois getting also actually probably even farther south than the NAM, and the HRRR shows around the same as the NAM does, just the less totals.
So I have a
it's
quick question.
They've all trended south. Even the NAM is too.
If it trends south with the snow, does that mean the low
That's
pressure
good for
also
people
trends?
down more south.
The
If
low
they're hoping
pressure's
for back
shifted further south, Tristan. Yes.
That means you got more shear. That makes perfect sense.
Oh.
And then you got the shortwave.
Yeah,
Actually,
that explains the confluence right there.
Yeah, and not only but now a shortwave is in agreement with all three models during the low jet.
Yeah, that explains the confluence, and that's really stomach churning for me looking at it.
Concerned again, the speed of the cold front and the
Oof.
What is the other thing I said that would be the main problems? Cold front. Brendan said
Cold
dry air.
front,
Yep,
dry air.
Right,
If
Brendan.
things lift.
No, the lift will be fine if the confluence shows up that good.
Yeah.
At this point.
Holy hell.
Oh, lapse rates. What does the precipitation do in the morning for the lapse rates?
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
not forget that. Because people say, oh, you don't need that much lapse rates in the South. Believe me, you need decent lapse rates. Because there have been times where people have been like, this event's going to be great. The lapse rates ain't going to fail. It fails.
Yeah. You still need good lapse rates for severe weather to happen.
Yeah.
Now, you don't need 10 degrees Celsius per kilometer. Absolutely not down there. That's absolutely unstable. But you could definitely do some work with maybe 6.5 Celsius per kilometer down there for a good severe weather event compared to maybe 7 in the Midwest.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
And one thing to mention is that for people, if severe weather doesn't go too bad in the afternoon, please pay attention in the night. Have your NOAA weather radio ready to wake you up during the night. If you're in a mobile home, I want to say I think you should go to a storm shelter that is available to the community in your area. Especially because even if we don't have any tornadoes, Pat, damaging winds, a lake low, 40 miles an hour with saturated soils, because these storms are going to drop an inch of rain in a very short time and overrun the soils
Yep.
for a decent amount of time. So you
Oh.
can easily just have a tree out at 40-mile-per-hour winds.
Yep, that's concerning. And yeah, we were talking about that earlier on stream too. So thanks for bringing that back up. Alrighty. Okay, we have 34 people in stream right now. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to like the stream, subscribe to the channel if you are new. We're getting more people engaged with weather by doing this. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about potentially what we're looking at next week. Tristan, I know you were talking about the SP about what's going on in DC with the whole day 6 enhanced thing. Would you like to go ahead and elaborate a bit more on that now that we are going to pivot to the subject?
The National Weather Services have their own scale, especially in DC. DC, by the way, is a very underrated office, not just because it's the region I love, but it's because it's actually a lot better than people think. They're not in the plains, they're not in the Midwest, but they do a really good job of what they do. And I will say this. The fact that they put a day, I think the last time we had that, I don't remember. By my memory of my childhood, it was 2016 Blizzard.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I could be wrong because I don't have the best memory in the world. So if people want to correct me on that, that's fine.
I know I have a friend, Matt. He can take a look at that for you.
Yeah, but it's very concerning that they already are kind of very pay attention on the especially since we talked about the Arctic blast. That's kind of perfect for an East Coast snowstorm. You want just enough cold temperatures, be cold for snow, but allow moisture to move in without drying it up. Because we know the teens, unless it's synoptically driven, it really doesn't. Snow doesn't fall at a certain temperature. The water would just completely freeze.
Sure.
So that is a really good a very good synoptic situation already. Of course, when winter storms, a question for Washington D.C. and Pat, this has been a pain for multiple winter storms for us. The rain and snow line.
Yep.
That can be an absolute menace, especially if it has freezing rain along it.
Oh, absolutely. I know that all too well. Dealt with that I dealt with that last month.
Yeah, but it's too far out. But the fact that DC already went enhanced for snow, that's actually kind of more significant than severe weather. If there's a day 6 of severe weather, we know, okay, the trends have to come up, but it's pretty significant. If you have a day 6 enhanced for snow, and the weather predictions there, I think put a 40 to 50% for DC for snow in 6 days.
Yeah.
So it matches, which is really concerning.
Oh, absolutely. I've been looking at some runs for this. The European and GFS I'm looking at are in general agreement that something is going to happen. Now, do we know exactly what's going to happen? No. But they're in agreement that something is going to happen, especially in the Midwest, which is an area I want to focus on first because they're getting impacted before DC and much in the northeastern United States. And I'm going to go ahead and turn to some other people like John or Brendan, if they want to go ahead and talk about that and see what's going on and potentially cover that a little bit. So,
I do got one.
What's up?
I know Florida. Normally, a lot of the time when we talk about winter storms that go in the Midwest and Arctic area, the one area that can still get some severe weather, depending on some synoptics, we don't know yet. And we'll have to check with the Storm Prediction Center tomorrow on the day 4 to 8. But I wonder if they'll mention maybe a squall line for Florida.
This format, from what I'm seeing, based on the synoptics, it's not going to be nearly as good as compared to what we were seeing before. And there's not really. Oh, okay. That's never mind. The trough's not going to be nearly as strong, according to the not just the GFS, but even the NAM as well. There's not going to be nearly as much of a trough compared to what we're seeing this time going forward, and it's going to mainly be zonal flow, which is pretty interesting in terms of the severe weather threat. So we'll have to see what happens with that. I just figured I'd bring that up for you.
Yeah, because that's because a lot of the time when you talk about a winter storm,
Yeah.
you all in Florida be like, oh, we got a slight risk, oh, we got an enhancer. There have been times where we get these very good winter storms and they end up impacting Florida or others with severe weather.
Yeah.
Maybe not as to I noticed something, Pat. And I don't know if this is just me and I might be wrong here. And I wonder if Brendan would like to comment on this too.
Yeah, I wanted to get
The
his take.
weaker storms do better severe weather than the stronger winter storms most of the time.
So I'm sorry. What's the question?
I've noticed a trend throughout the last few years, and I could be wrong. The stronger winter storms tend to do less severe weather than weaker winter storms.
Yeah, I just don't know enough to. It's a good observation. I'm just not too well versed in that. So I don't really have much to add. I actually don't know. Good
All
question.
All right, Yoshi, what's up? You're on the air.
Hello. I just got in here. What are we talking about?
We're talking about winter weather. We covered the severe weather threat. We've covered the winter weather threat for this weekend. Now we're talking about the stuff the winter weather next week, and we're also kind of bringing up the possibility for even more severe weather for this for the snowstorm starting on Monday and Tuesday.
All right.
Yeah, I just figured I'd catch you up to speed with that. But
Yeah.
But Brendan, Tristan, continue your conversation unless Yoshi has something to add.
I defer it to Yoshi. Yeah, if he has anything to add.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm gonna look at models. I'm gonna look at models in a minute, specifically for Florida danger, because I did hear some people talking about Florida severe storms. So I'm gonna look at that in a minute.
All right, go ahead.
Oh, is this Yoshi?
What?
I was just asking that.
Yeah.
What?
About the Florida severe weather. I was just laughing.
Well, actually, hey, Yoshi, a question for you on the Florida, not to defer too far, but are you
Right.
from that area? Like, you're familiar with Florida weather?
Yeah, Tampa Bay area.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, so my question to you is, and this is a very side question, and we'll get back to the main conversation, but I did see for Orlando, for example, if we head towards next week, some temperatures, believe hitting in the 90s. Is that above normal for Florida this time of year to see 90s or getting close to that?
Yeah. Yes, definitely above normal. I'm gonna tell you, at least in Ruskin, we usually have 78 to 80 as our normal over here. And a couple days ago, actually, we had upwards of 85, 5 to 7 degrees above average. And 2 days in a row, actually, NWS Ruskin has seen record-breaking temperatures. Especially one from 2020 was broken. The old one, I think on the 12th, February 12th, was 85, the old record, back in 2020. And we easily broke that this February 12th, going up to 88 with, what was it? I think we had heat indexes closer to 90 to 92.
Wow, what a contrast to the middle of January. I mean, just a
And
huge
then
swing in temperature.
next week, apparently, I've been slowly looking at it. We're supposed to go down to 40s and a chance of maybe even upper 30s low.
Yeah.
Wow, what a swing.
For sure. That is crazy.
That's and Pat, I think as Yoshi pulls up what he has to pull up, I think really, and thank you for that answer, Yoshi, by the way, and that insight. I think that was, the other storyline this winter that we're going to look back on is the massive temperature pendulum swings that we've seen from the middle of January up to now for not just Florida, but also much of the Southeast.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Look
what
this
happened in New
winter will
Orleans.
certainly go on the record books. Yeah, exactly. Louisiana, like the winter storms we saw, and then Milton, Florida, getting the 10 inches of snow. I mean, So it's folks, it has been, I mean, as we especially look towards next week for what could potentially be a nor'easter for the Northeast.
Yeah.
This has already been a bizarre winter. It's certainly a contrast to what we saw last year.
Oh, it absolutely is, and it's gonna be something. It's gonna be something crazy. This is definitely a much crazier and much more active winter than what we saw last year. We had 2 weeks of boom, boom, boom last year, and then it was dry. And this time it started off slow, and then boom, 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 boom for 2 months. So
Exactly.
crazy, crazy stuff has been going on. But in the meantime, though, I'm gonna go ahead and pivot a little bit. I want to go ahead and pivot to. Okay, John is deafened, so we can't talk to him. Oh, there you are. Hey,
I would
John.
like to
Okay.
mention. Oh, is he back?
Yeah, he's back. In the meantime,
Yeah, I'm
Sean,
back.
I wanted to talk to you about what we're looking at potentially Tuesday night for the Midwest. What are your thoughts on the pattern and the snow accumulations you're seeing so far?
Honestly, I haven't really looked at that yet,
That's
so
okay.
I wouldn't really know.
That's okay. Just figured I'd ask.
I'll get to it.
Okay, the 18Z
Also, there's
GFS has to be on something for next week. They want Missouri to get over 20 inches of snow from this. I'm sorry.
What
that's
about
a little
Illinois?
outlandish right there. I mean, the 12Z GFS is getting as close to that, but we'll have to see what happens.
Is that the
it's
case
gonna
for
be all
Illinois
over the
too?
place. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
Hey,
is that the case for Illinois too, or no?
It's mainly concentrated in Missouri this time.
Sorry. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, but regardless of that, okay, here's the Euro. So we'll have to see what happens, but generally what I'm looking at in terms of the Midwest, and I'll go ahead and use the GFS to kind of at least give an illustration as to what's happening. Here's what we have right here. This is how we can illustrate it. There's going to be a low pressure system. Yeah, there it is. It looks like it looks like it starts off, I believe, as a classic Colorado low pressure system as it moves off, and then it dives further to the south, it seems, and heads towards the Gulf of Mexico, while the snowier side generally stays in Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri, and other parts of the Midwest. And then it starts to taper off a little bit, but then it enters the Gulf of Mexico and starts bringing in more moisture towards the system, and then it starts to really reorganize and ramp up in development, and then either it crashes into New England in the mid-Atlantic or moves out to sea, typically based on what I'm seeing with each run generally. Well, with the 12Z GMGDPS, it starts off the Midwest, then it moves into the Gulf, then it really ramps up and crashes into not just New England, but also the Mid-Atlantic, and I think this is why Tristan to highlight that the Washington D.C. Bulletin that he did earlier, because of these multiple runs that are showing a lot of snowfall happening, potentially this snowstorm moving. Look at how heavy some of this is in the models. We're looking at potentially up to 2 inches of snow per hour in some of these bands that I'm noticing right here, at least in the GEM GDPS. Now, granted, it's a little bit, it's not set in stone and all that. And then you have the 12 Euro that wants New Jersey, Maryland, Delaware, and Virginia to just get pounded by up to 20 inches of snow, which that would be pretty concerning if that were to happen, but we'll have to see what happens. We need more information. So, yeah. What are your guys' thoughts on what I've just talked about?
I'm waiting for NBM to render, but I can see what you're talking about.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, that could bring quite a bit of snow for southwest Missouri, even into Kansas.
Yeah. For sure, especially as it starts out first, because you have your Colorado low, you have your lee cyclogenesis starting, and then it dives south towards the Gulf and keeps the snow to the north, starts to taper off, and then ramps up as it organizes and develops in the Gulf and the Atlantic. So, yeah.
Sorry. I would like to point out I was muted the whole time, and I've been literally looking at the storm this entire week. Could I try to give insight and
Yeah, absolutely. Go
what I've
go
been
for
looking
it. Go for
All
it.
right, thank you. So, this storm has actually been uptrending for at least for my area in Illinois for like the entire week, and it shows 10 inches, which is almost record breaking for my area. On the 18Z GFS, and it shows around like 8 on the 12Z.
Yeah,
On the Euro, oh, sorry.
no, sorry. No, go ahead.
Oh,
I was just
sorry.
going to comment saying I wouldn't put too much stock in the 18Z GFS, but but I would still pay attention to the trends. Go for it.
The Euro, surprisingly, I'm shocked by this, shows 9 inches. So it ain't that far fetched, surprisingly. The 12Z shows around 9 inches also.
It's crazy how in agreement these two runs are this far out. You know what? That's actually scary because typically the Euro and GFS don't agree, but when they agree, you know it's going to be a problem. It's just like this during hurricane season as well. I've noticed.
But actually, if I recall correctly, and somebody clean me up on this,
Sure.
but I remember the last time that happened within that far of a time distance. That's when we were having conversations about the snowstorm in the Gulf that we had back in January. I could be mistaken,
Now
but
that you think
that
about
was
it,
an
yeah.
example. You know,
yeah,
and they
you're
weren't
right.
necessarily in lockstep, but they were definitely like saying, "Hey, huge signal on the Gulf,
Oh,
getting
yeah.
snow."
Absolutely.
So, but I don't know. Somebody clean me up on that.
No,
I thought that's the last
I
time we
remember
said.
that actually.
you're right.
I was talking to
Okay.
Matt, Alex, and some other my Met guys here at school about it. You're spot on with that. Similar thing too in 2016 with that snowstorm in DC. Similar situation. All the models were in agreement as well.
Yeah. So that far out, and also, you know, another example, if we're going historical, 2011 Groundhog's Day blizzard,
Yep.
the famous one in Chicago. The last time you saw a blizzard in Chicago,
Yeah.
that was also one that was agreed. I think it was even 8 days out.
Yeah.
So
Same
yeah,
with the
I think it's a
1993
great
storm of the century as well.
93 storm of the century. Yeah. So anytime, and again, as Pat mentioned, trends can change, but it certainly concerns me too. We're seeing Euro and GFS agreement, especially for and without doxing anybody here, are we talking like Southern Illinois ish?
What?
We're kind of
Yes,
honing in
don't
on-
worry,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, don't
Yes.
worry, don't worry, you're fine.
Okay, so like Southern.
yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I'm in Central myself, but
Okay.
no, so Southern Illinois, yeah, that's 10 inches. That's quite a bit, right? That's a pretty
Yeah.
historical event.
Oh,
so
yeah.
That's like number two. That's like number 2, like all time. So
Alright, I'm
crazy.
looking at our, is it 43? Let me check. 41 on the HRRR took a sounding near Timber Pines and Spring Hill.
Okay.
And I'm getting some interesting results over here. I'm telling you that
Ooh.
for a possibility of some Florida severe going on. I think at highest
Wait a
this is
minute.
going to be slight levels.
Yeah.
All right, so let me tell y'all what's happening here. I got a 74 temperature, which is pretty good for Florida. 70 degrees in Dew Point, which is like, it's not something you don't see often. You see this fairly often. Not in February, though, I will tell you.
Yeah.
1,400 Cape SFC for
Well, that's not bad.
this place. That's not bad for Florida. Remember, Florida doesn't need as much Cape as other places for a severe to happen, mainly because how it's shaped, sea breezes, and moisture. So Cape being this high is actually fairly good. It wouldn't even produce much. I don't think it would produce much in other places, but for Florida, it's amazing.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. That's for sure.
MU was 1,400. The most interesting part, precipitable water is 1.66 inches, which means there's a lot of rain going down here. Not on this exact one I'm seeing, but just like a couple miles out. Supercell had 30 loose matches, and significant hail had 3 full matches, 2 1 inches and a 0.75. and we got a possible hazard type of red tornado. The
All
photograph,
right.
I'd say, is personally, I'm still learning how to read photographs, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
share this to other people. But
Yeah,
for what I
let me
know,
take a look.
it's not trash, but it isn't that good either. It's not high. You know.
We just got a new Twitter message from the National Weather Service of Washington, D.C. They
Really?
talk about the same low next week, D.C. and heavy snow on the Weather Prediction Center. Okay, D.C., now you're really trending it.
What's going on?
All right.
DC just did a new Twitter post talking about some wintry mix on Saturday, of course, but then they're now monitoring the coastal low we were talking about Wednesday into Thursday.
Oh,
It has the potential to be a high impact system.
Oh,
wow. Oh,
already.
So that's we're already
Alright.
talking
Darn.
about it. That's concerning.
That
Yeah,
is-
that's-
If
That's
they're
very
doubling
unprecedented.
down on that, that is a problem.
But
that's
here's
They're
unprecedented.
that confident. They're that confident.
Someone,
You know,
can someone who knows how to do soundings look at Live No Mic real
Yeah,
quick
I'll
and
take a
tell
quick look
me
at it.
how good this is?
Let me see.
do you all see the position of the
Okay,
low
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
off the coast
I
of the
can take a quick
Carolinas?
look at this. We covered this in Mezzo recently. Yeah, this is the
I'm surprised
photograph
they're
Yoshi's
so
talking
confident.
about. Okay, so your SRH,
So-
your SRH at 3 kilometers is pretty good. Shear is also pretty strong. Where's this taken at?
This was taken at, let me get it, 28.39 north, 82.64 west.
This is in Florida.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
At
The shear is
hour-
actually
hour
pretty strong
41.
in this one. Oh,
Wow.
I'll share a screenshot of it.
yeah. Bulk shear is pretty strong with that.
If it'll allow me, that is. Is this thing oh, there we go. Awesome.
yeah.
Thank you, Firefox.
That'll be interesting. That'll be interesting to see
This
how
is the
that
best
pans out.
I could do for a screenshot, but it should be enough. I'd say it's good for a slight,
I agree.
a low slight.
Oh, I agree. I agree with that. I agree with that, Yoshi. 100%. Yeah, we're just talking about some potential severe weather for Florida in the near future. But yeah, when is this for? Let me take a quick look at this.
Hour 41. It's
Oh,
gonna be
Okay. Yeah.
in the middle or late morning to afternoon of Sunday.
Yeah.
I would like to point out sorry, Yoshi, go ahead. I was about to. So
this
DC
was
talked about it. The
General
confidence
trend
is low, but I want to point out something that's interesting about the Weather Prediction Center graph versus another storm that was historic for DC. I'm gonna post a comparison here. And I'm not saying this is gonna happen, by the way. The left graph was Winter Storm Jonas, the blizzard of 2016. That's the Weather Prediction Center on DC's tweet. It's the same. That's concerning.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that was the first time ever, I think, recorded that DC did a blizzard warning.
Yeah. That's pretty concerning to say the very least.
Now, again, it days out.
It's days out,
Well,
but
yeah,
if they're
I'll
this
say something.
confident, that should be concerning.
Okay,
Their
Yeah.
I would like
confidence
to
is
say something.
actually medium to low. They're talking about it, but it's medium to low only because of the surface low. Only because
Yeah.
of the surface low.
So they're confident in snow, but not where the
Nice
low
pass.
It's
positioning is.
medium. It's medium because
All right.
they know
Here,
Arctic air is
3
going to be
kilometer more
there.
bullish with snow.
It's just a surface low, but their confidence is enough to talk about it
Yeah.
Yeah.
and have it enhanced on the winter storm index.
Honestly, I'm kind of surprised because it felt like the models are like half and half right now. Because the Euro AI, but the Euro AI doesn't show it, but the operational shows it, and the GFS doesn't show it, and the Canadian
But
shows it.
Then says the Euro needs a day or two because it's been messing up.
I know,
But
but the ensembles show it too. So it's like very half and half right now.
Yeah.
It can be.
I'm kind of shocked they're that confident. I mean, they're officials, but like, you know what
That
I
is
mean?
pretty concerning, though. I hope this trend doesn't stay because DC. When was the last time DC had, besides 2016, a major 2011 streak, or was it 2010 streak?
2010.
Yeah.
All right.
What's up, Yoshi?
Oh, was he done?
Oh, Tristan, are you done?
That was good.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
All right.
All right. So I took another sounding just south of Newport Richie. So it's about 30, 40 miles. No, about 20 to 35 miles south
All right.
of the first one. It is at 28.07, 28.07 north, 82.7 west.
Okay.
Hour 41 on HRRR. I got, and I put it in live no mic for anyone that wants to look at it
Yeah, I'll take a
themselves.
quick look at it.
Sure.
But
Sure,
I
sure,
got 76 on temperature, 69 on dew point, slightly, barely higher Cape on versus the first sounding. Still got a possible hazard type of tornado. And I'd say this is slightly better than the first one, if I had to say.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Photograph's better, too. Just a little bit, though.
I think the main portion of it, personally, will be going from St. Petersburg to about Citrus County.
Yeah.
And it's along the ocean, along the coast, because if you look at, why is my thing all messed up? If you look at Cape on BHRRR, let me get it here, SB Cape and photographs.
Mm-hmm.
Let me take a screenshot of this here. You're going to see that a good amount of it is near the coast, which is going to look very weird if they decide to place, the NWS decides to place the slight right where that cape is.
Oh.
I put the SB Cape and photographs in live no mic for anyone that wants to see. It is southeast at 41 hour.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna.
Oh, go ahead, Rockets.
Yeah. Because I got what I wanted to talk about, and since I have friends that wanted to talk to me, I'm gonna go now since I got my main. Like I said,
that's fine. Take
got my
care of
main
yourself,
topic out the way.
Take care of
all right.
yourself. Thanks
Thank
for coming
you.
on the stream, dog.
Take care, buddy.
Yep. No problem. Thank you, guys.
Right. Stay safe. Okay. I just took a quick look at those. Hey Tristan, I saw your what you sent in live no mic while I was looking paying attention to what Yoshi was sending me with the cape and all that stuff from TRG Tornado. What is this based off of exactly?
So this is basically, I believe this is a weather prediction cinegraphic. I'm going to have to go back and see.
Yeah, I want to vet this, because if that's true, then DC, Philly, New York, and Boston are all in the line of fire with this.
But I want to read this from the discussion from DC.
Sure.
I need to read it.
Absolutely.
In terms of the synoptic setup of a noteworthy synoptic snow along the eastern seaboard, many pieces of the puzzle are there in the long-range guidance. A decaying Greenland block, downstream 50-50 low, decaying west or east base negative NAO, favorable ridge over Idaho. Now what happens as the piece of energy rounds the base of the trough and the associated upper level low moves eastward will be essentially in determining if this snow event will be talked about for years to come or a few flurries. Many details will be ironed out, which will hopefully become more clear by the time we move into the second half of the weekend or early next week. A storm for years to come to talk about.
This far out.
Last time I heard that was Jonas.
Wait a minute. Yeah. Hold on. Was that in the AFD?
Yes.
And when was that written?
That was written today at 8:59 p.m. Friday, Valentine's Day.
So
this was read that last sentence again. Yeah, read that last sentence again for the viewers.
Let me see if I can find it because I might be blind. Okay, there we go.
That's fine.
What happens as this piece of energy rounds the base of the trough and associate upper level low moves eastward? It will be essential of determining if this is a snow event we talk about for years to come or a few flurries.
Wow. Okay.
DC did it was the 2015 blizzard. And look at the weather prediction center graphic. It matches with the Jonas low. That's what? It's far out. but
Crap.
It's at the same time too. Both of them were at 12Z. I'm not saying this is gonna happen.
My
but DC,
brain is my brain is
No.
freezing right now because
It is, and so is mine. But Tristan, to your point, right? Yes, the last sentence is basically saying, you know, it could either be flurries or it could be something very major. But besides that, I mean, the fact that they're even hinting at it, they're hinting at the idea this far out, is for a weather office, as we've pretty much beat the dead horse on, is very unprecedented this far out. Like, that's kind of unheard of. They may hint at snow, they may hint at accumulations, but for somebody or from an office to say this could be a pretty major event,
Yeah.
yeah. So
And I will say this: 2016 was the last time they said something like this, and they got it right. Yes,
Yeah.
the snow was a little bit better northwest of us, but otherwise,
yeah, I know Ethan
So that's
WX got hit pretty bad by that. So
yeah, DC is an underrated NWS, and this is one of the reasons why.
hmm
They're confident, but at the same time, they're like, "Hey, let's pause for a second. We want to watch this, but we're confident on something." I like the wording they do a lot of the time with stuff like this. They're very cautious, but they're confident at the same time. So,
yeah. Hold on one second. Yeah. Okay. All right. Tyler's gonna join for a bit. All right. Let's go ahead and bring him in here. Tyler, you are
Alright.
on the air. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
That's good. What are your thoughts on all of this business we're dealing with the weather and the severe weather and the winter weather and the more winter weather next week? What are your thoughts on all of this as we continue
Yeah.
to round this out?
So some of the things might have already been said on the stream because again I just joined. But yeah, for the I'm gonna start with the severe risk. That like most of those events, like I feel like most of those events, like especially when they're involving a line, they're either they either verify with those wait hold on my parents can I have a second?
All right.
Sorry
Yeah.
about
Okay. Also, off topic, but I love that the NWS Chicago issued a hydraulic outlook, but not a winter weather advisory.
that's crazy.
Bro.
Sounds like a skill
That's
issue.
wild.
Yeah, it's a skill issue, man.
Skill issue.
What is this?
this is what happens to my dreams every day. Okay.
Bro,
nice.
every,
All right.
Wait, hold on. What is the hydraulic outlook even for? Because like I know they were talking about like
let
ice
me
jams and
look.
stuff like that.
Okay.
Favorable conditions for river ice development and possible ice jams.
Ice jams.
No, they have a discussion saying they do have a discussion saying the burst of accumulated snow is expected this evening for areas near and north of I-80, where up to 1 to 3 inches of snow may fall within a short period. This combined with gusty winds covers all with sharply reduced visibility and hazardous travel. It's called entering an advisory.
But is that like a
Not-
special weather statement you're reading?
No, that's the hydrological outlook. Oh wait,
No,
Oops.
what?
no, that's the hydrological outlook. I'm sorry, me.
I
me
do see
friend.
a hydrological outlook or whatever.
Oh my god.
Chicago keeps dropping the darn ball.
Man.
Bro, what are you guys doing in Romeoville?
Chicago's killing me, man.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well,
yeah.
regardless, in the meantime, though, Tyler, are you back or no?
Yeah, I'm back.
All right. While we were horsing around with the Chicago office, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So I just found this too. I know this was covered already, but for that upcoming winter storm, the one on the 20th,
Yeah.
the National Weather Service, they put out this discussion saying they're basically tracking a few things which will determine if this is a snow event that we'll talk about for years to come or a few
Yep.
flurries.
Yep,
Flurries.
Tristan
Yep.
covered it.
Good catch. Yep.
So, all right, sorry about that.
No worry. No, don't
No,
worry.
you're
about it.
good.
I'm as shocked as everybody here, though.
Yeah.
Tyler, the last time DC did it was in 2016, and we know how right they were.
Was that for Jonas?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And then I don't know if you already shown this thing too. That I put in no mic. It's the winter storm threat.
Ooh.
Oh, we got it. We got it, guys.
Yeah. I can find it.
That's a problem. That's a problem.
Yeah. So again, they probably already done a deep discussion into it, but so I'm probably just adding on. But yeah, it is basically going to be a boom or bust event. We're either going to have a very historic snowstorm or just basically nothing at all.
So their potential impact is high, but their confidence isn't. That's interesting.
Yeah. And this includes the entire DMV area.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, for this map.
That is crazy.
So
Wow.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, this verifies. Then definitely schools will be closed for a while.
Oh, absolutely, they will.
Yeah.
They already closed a decent amount after the last two winters.
Yeah.
They actually closed for one day from just the ice.
Man, you know who would be perfect to come on the stream in this case? Because I know he lives in Maryland. You know who would be perfect to have on here?
Who?
Ethan WX.
Oh gosh.
We need him.
Yeah.
We
I'm going
need
to
him.
see if he wants to come on.
Well, if this does verify, if we go to next week and you do a live stream for it, he will definitely be here.
Oh, he'll
he'll
absolutely be here for that if that were the case, because he went
Part
through
is-
2016. He got 3 feet of snow from that. Yeah, he
Yeah, you know
absolutely would love, bro. He needs to come on the stream at some point so we can talk to him about this, because for him this is gonna be a pretty crazy event. So
Pat, you know what the crazy part was?
what?
I was in the core blizzard conditions during Jonas in 2016 because I'm technically around the DC area, so we got the best of the wind at least. It was wicked.
Oh yeah.
It was an actual blizzard. It wasn't just we put a blizzard warning and the winds underperformed. No, there were. I believe I measured a gust of 45 miles an hour in my house.
Yeah.
I do see a high.
I did.
That's a problem.
But yeah,
Or
I
just
It's that
know of all
tired.
that snow of it.
schools will be closed for a while.
Last one day.
Who would be on the
Yeah, and I also
stream
have my
in this
fair share of,
case?
blizzards too, because of the one that happened in the south.
Yeah.
Oh
The
yeah, how was
Buffalo
that?
blizzard? I got
Everybody.
I measured 12 inches from that
Wow.
snowdrift.
Yeah, I remember that snowstorm in New Orleans, around New Orleans in the south. Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
That's
Tyler, you know
crazy
that
was I
same
was
storm-
there for AMS
You're a-
for a.
Yeah.
Hold up, who's friend requesting me?
Yeah, and Tristan, go ahead.
Oh. I remember
that
that.
same-
I was in New Orleans for AMS for a week, and then a few days after I leave, this whole thing happens.
Mac, I was talking to folks from NIU, and I was like, man, for those folks who went to AMS, you guys just got out in the nick of
Yeah.
time. That was
No kidding.
blood.
Yeah, it shut.
Otherwise, you would have been
everything
stuck
down.
for a
It shut
while.
Oh,
everything down.
absolutely.
I got an emergency alert on my phone during that because there
Yeah.
was accidents happening. Tristan, what were you gonna say?
I was saying that same storm that hit the south caused a lot of damage in Ireland.
Yeah, I know a friend that suffered a lot of damage from it actually in Ireland.
All right.
Yeah,
I'm
Yeah.
taking a
Yeah,
quick
you
look at
lost
something
power
real
for
quick.
like over a week.
Okay. Let's take. I'm sorry. I'm just taking a quick look at something very quickly.
Yeah.
You're good.
We got a question in chat talking about Western Massachusetts. So I wanted to quickly take a quick gander at this and put this to bed and do all of that. So
Okay.
here's what we have going on. Just taking a look at the latest runs. Okay, the European's a little interesting. GFS a little interesting. It's to answer your question, Blazedoll. You're not going to see ice. You're going to see more so snow from this, and I wouldn't be worried about too worried about the power lines where you're at. That's all I'm going to say. So thank you for asking. All right. You're not going to see an inch of ice from this. You're going to most likely see snow, but that's especially in the higher elevations too. I just figured I'd put that to bed. So yeah. All right. Is there anything else you guys want to go over, or?
I got one last thing.
Sure.
And this is kind of I'll call this in other news in the weather world, something that may not be making headlines. And is Yoshi still in the call?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
cool.
I'm preparing for my Florida segment.
Cool. Oh, well, so I'll add to the Florida part before you kick it off. The other story I don't think making enough headlines right now. I mean, we don't necessarily talk much here on drought, and it's kind of one of those dry topics. Get it? But
Okay, man.
it's I know. It's Valentine's Day. We're being punny today.
Yeah,
but
we're being a little
you know,
funny.
yeah, exactly. So the other conversation we don't talk about much here is drought, and Florida right now is in some pretty significant drought in many parts, especially I believe Central Florida, and now severe threshold. And so one thing that in that is important is that I would actually expect, Pat, and we can have this conversation more offline, but
Sure.
over the next 20, 30 years, I mean, as flash drought becomes more abundant, I think Florida is going to be highly more susceptible to it out of anybody. So watch that space, but that could have implications for, dare I say, wildfires
Oof.
in some parts, especially by the Everglades.
Oof,
Just saying. But that's a whole other conversation for another day. But
Yeah. All right. All right.
anyway,
Don't worry. Occasional hurricane, they're fine.
go the occasional hurricane. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right,
Or
Yoshi,
2,
go
or
ahead.
3, or 5.
All right, Yoshi, go ahead whenever you're ready. I know you want to do your segment.
All right, I was hoping to post a rap sounding before I begin.
Yeah, go
Let
ahead.
me do that. That'll take like a minute,
No, take your
and
time.
then I'll begin on the segment.
Yeah, take your time with that. All right. All right, John. John, before we get to the Florida segment, overall, what's the biggest take you can kind of come out from this whole stream?
Honestly, we got severe weather, we got winter weather, got a little bit of everything.
Yep.
I just love the way you delivered that.
Whole lot of everything.
A whole lot of
Yeah,
everything.
that's one way to
We bring the
that's
boom.
One way to sum
Yeah.
it is we got a little bit of everything.
Yo, that's awesome. All right, Yoshi, I see your SKU-T. What's up? I see your sounding. Whenever you're ready.
All right, so I got 3 or 4 soundings all spanned out here. Let me link to the first one. Actually, do we have one before that? No, I don't. Okay, good. I think I have everything planned out. Awesome. Okay, so first off, if Pat, you could go to, let me get it here, HRRR. Let me go to HRRR and go to the earliest hour where we start to see some really good conditions.
Sure.
It's going to be HRRR at 0Z at, I'd say 39 hour. Let me link to that.
All right. I'm ready.
Oh, it's already on? Oh, awesome. All right. That's okay, cool. So at 39 hour, that's where we start to see the line going. It's a very thin line. It's a cold front, I believe.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a quick one, but it's going to be a hard one. I'm going to tell you that one.
Mm-hmm.
It's very thin, I'd say about 10 to 15, maybe 20 miles wide worth of rain.
Okay.
And if we advance to hour 40 over here, we see it continue to go down. And by 41 hour, it starts to reach near the Tampa to the National Weather Service Tampa Bay area. So it is at 17Z right now, which, if I'm doing my quick math correct, that is about early afternoon on Sunday.
Yeah.
And 41 hour is when we start to get some of these really good looking soundings over here. I got one at 41 hour. It's one we showed earlier, but possible hazard type of tornado. It had really good cape for Florida. It even had a dry spike, which I tried asking you, Pat. I don't think you saw it, but correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure a dry spike near the 500 millibar level indicates some good hail properties to it. Yeah.
I would say so.
All right.
I'd say so.
Since
But
we've been
not to some extent, I would say so, but yeah.
All right. We've been seeing a good amount of that lately on the HRRR, especially once we go near places like St. Petersburg or going places surrounding the old Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
And to my new soundings, if I have it here, there we go, to the My Goodness one. The My Goodness one is at hour 42. So if we go to hour 42, we see it enter Citrus County and even Hernando County.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, I don't know what's causing this much. I haven't looked at that yet, but it does start to like thicken up a bit. If you compare 40, 41, and 42, 40 has this very thin line, like 5-10 miles.
Yep.
42 has something closer to 10 to 15, maybe even 20.
Yeah. Juicy. So what am I saying? It thickens up a little bit.
Yeah.
What am I trying?
So this sounding, oh my goodness, one at hour 42. It is at, I believe, Spring Hill. So we're looking in Hernando County right now, right near Pasco. And it has 2,000 cape. This sounding has the highest cape I have personally seen in a Florida severe weather in a while, possibly even ever. I don't think I've ever seen 2,000, which isn't saying much because I know there is events that are way better than this.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, this is a really, really good slide event. If we go to this one is also hour 42. I'm gonna link it to that one. It is the
I'm following on
one
Pivotal.
3 to 5 miles south of Newport Richey, for those who know.
Yeah.
If you look in live no mic, I have it linked now.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I got it. I'm on Pivotal Weather right now, so.
All right, awesome. It has slightly lower cape, not that much though. 2,040 versus 1,950.
Yeah.
It's not that much, honestly, in the relative look of things. And if you see that, I don't know if the actual sounding is up right now, but if you see near just above the 500 millibar line, this is where I believe this is where it's like hail spikes are most important. We got a very severe hail spike right there.
Okay.
And if we look at the earlier sounding, I didn't mention this earlier, you don't have to go back to it.
Okay.
But for significant hail analogs, we do see a 3-inch right there.
Yeah.
And it's not just HRRR. I've been mostly looking at HRRR because HRRR is pretty good at this sort of stuff. If we look at RAP, it's not as significant, and we'll tell you, RAP doesn't have it as powerful, as worrying as the HRRR does. However, if we look at the RAP sounding, gonna link to that. There we go. RAP 21Z, this is at 44 hours, so that would also be about midday. That'd be 40 to 41 hour now. If we look at this, we do have a slight drop off of moisture of the dew point up in the atmosphere right above 500 millibars. It's not as significant as we saw in the other ones, but it's still something that I do want to watch. Pretty sure the next long range RAP is going to be at 0-3.
All right.
Cape on the RAP, it's not as much as it is on the HRRR, but it's still something to look at. I will tell you, I believe if I'm reading that right, 1700. So it's not nothing to scoff at.
Mhm.
All right.
Okay.
And for what I know about photographs, all of these photographs we've been looking at so far, looking at the top right, that is pretty good photographs for a Florida severe setup.
Yeah, I can see
Now,
that.
the broader question would be, what could actually happen? I've been saying a whole lot of gibberish pretty much to the normal person, which I probably should have said that first, but whatever. So basically, what all of that means is that personally, what I'm seeing is we could very well get very strong storms lasting about an hour to 2 hours, depending on what area you're in. The more northern you go, the longer lasting and probably stronger it will be. And if you're on the Tampa Bay area being anywhere from Sarasota up to Citrus County, if you're on the coast, you're probably going to get the worst of it.
Mhm.
Places like Pasco and Hernando beaches will probably get the hardest of it. What I'm possibly seeing, I don't see much of a tornado threat here. I do think 1 or 2 spin-ups are possible due to like the general environment and the Cape.
Yeah.
But mostly what I'm seeing is wind and hail, especially hail is probably going to be my biggest concern looking at what we've seen everything so far. These strong storms, good enough looking photographs, and the really, really good hail spikes going on in these soundings.
Yeah.
But again, just because I'm saying that the most prevalent is hail doesn't mean wind and tornadoes won't exist. Wind is probably just as dangerous in this situation as the hail would be. And tornadoes, once again, I said a few spin-ups, this could very well change, and I believe this may turn a bit stronger if the models really want it to be, which is totally possible.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this right now. This is the best looking setup I have seen in 2 years, at least.
Wow. For Florida.
For Florida, yeah.
Oh,
There's been a
wow.
few enhanced, and those usually like whenever an enhanced comes, it busts. But pretty much, at least in 2 years of tracking this sort of stuff, maybe it's because I have more knowledge on it. That's totally possible. But at least in my experience, this is probably one of the best setups I'm seeing so far for a straight line like this. Hurricanes, I've seen better setups, but we're not in hurricane season right now. Don't focus on that.
Yeah.
All right.
Our time will
So
come.
for winter cold front setups, one of the best I've seen so far.
Wow. Well, we'll have to see what happens with that, but what's the biggest takeaway that our audience could get from this?
If you live in Florida, make sure to be prepared for hail and wind mainly on Sunday. And if you have any activities that you have to go outside for, I'd on Sunday morning to late afternoon, don't do it.
Yeah.
It's likely that there is going to be some very windy storms around there, possibly severe. And
yeah,
I'd recommend following up on the Storm Prediction Center, and for anyone in Tampa Bay, this is mainly Tampa Bay, really, in my opinion. Looking up at National Weather Service Tampa Bay, look at them, and just prepare for an event like this, because I can't say anything with 100% certainty. It could die off tomorrow. It could become an even bigger threat tomorrow. That's what we have to look at. HRRR, even the models I'm using, even just 40 hours out, get it wrong a lot. And this could be one of those situations. This could not want to be those situations. I simply don't know. I'm going off the data of what I'm seeing.
All right.
Yoshi, I would like to say real quick, talking about those line of storms, we were just talking about a while ago before you arrived. I want to
Yeah.
communicate this real quick. That the HRRR, RAP, and the NAM all agree on a shortwave area in Mississippi, along with they all connect with the trough very well. Those same runs do a decent line of storms on Florida, so that's a good point to mention. What happens in Mississippi can affect Florida too. It's not one state; it's multiple.
Yeah. For
So
sure.
we'll monitor this as it goes.
All right.
I'm gonna look at VHRRR as it goes and whatnot.
Okay.
Now, the next one I want to see, it's coming really soon actually. RAP 03Z, I believe, is the next one where it goes up to
Yeah,
51.
It should. Yeah, it
Yeah.
should be starting to come out in the next 45 minutes or so.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
All
and
right.
if that model trends to shortwave that we were talking about a lot.
Yep.
Yeah, Kristen can help me with this one since I don't know much about shortwaves and
Mhm.
whatnot.
Sure.
I know a lot about
Shortwave
Florida weather,
is
Van. I'll tell you.
500 to 700. They're, you know, have you seen what they're called isobars, right? The little lines. They're
Mhm.
little
Yeah, I know
kinks.
those.
They're little kinks. They're kind of.
Let me
And
grab
you-
my pivotal web real quick.
Brendan's better at this than me, by the way, Yoshi, if he's here. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Wait, he left?
Brandon-
Oh, that's bad. I think I see it.
Yeah.
I think I see it. Let me screenshot it, and Kristen, you can tell me whether if I'm looking at the right thing. Live no mic. This is
Okay.
what is it? 21 hour? 28 hours. Sorry, 28
Yeah.
hour. 0 Sunday.
Normally, you would like to look at it. That's backwards. Normally, you would like to look at it in front of lines or in front of supercells or with the event itself.
Oh, okay. So I got to look
Yeah.
like 21 then, probably. 23. I'm not
The
seeing
one
much pink and
that,
isobars so far.
the at the front of the line between when the confluence tries to happen and
Hmm. Right.
yeah.
Nice.
The 500 millibar, I like looking at that.
Oh, 500.
Not-
Okay, let me look at
Yeah.
500 then.
Yeah.
500. Is not it. Upper air. 500 millibar height wind.
Yes. You can also it's more rare to see it at 700, 850,
All right.
but can try to look for
Where are you seeing it at? I'm not finding any like kinks in the isobars
I
so far.
showed Pat earlier, with all the
Oh,
models
wait, I
showing.
think I see it. Is it this 570?
I would have to see.
Yeah.
Let me get it.
Yeah. All right. While you guys are working on that, Tyler, what are your thoughts on everything you've heard so far?
Good. Wait, hold up. Yeah. So. Yeah. So for what Yoshi just said, just be prepared. Have your phone alerts turned on. And make sure you're able to hear them.
Yeah.
Especially not just in Florida, especially are in Mississippi tonight with the QLCS.
Yeah,
Yep.
and my people in Louisiana. I mean, I know we went from a blizzard sliding down the levees and stuff to this, but I guess that's just Louisiana's weather in a nutshell. But have your phone alerts turned on, and we've been through a lot of squall lines before, but this one could be fairly damaging. So just have those turned on. This, I believe it. Well, for our area in southeastern Louisiana, I think this is an overnight event from what I've heard.
And I would like to say, as James Spann said, especially when your soil is so saturated, you have
Yep.
rainfall coming down pretty fast. It only takes 40 miles per hour in densely forested areas to knock a tree down on a mobile home, on a
Yep.
car, on a roadway, especially with wake lows and mesoscale lows.
And I think that
Especially with-
also, I think that also applies to the fact that I heard some of our trees, mainly palm trees, are dead because of the snow.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
nice.
Oh yeah.
Are the-
That's not.
Oh,
obvious.
that's-
one of our
that's
yeah,
pretty
one of
cool.
our local palm trees died from the snow.
Aw.
Oof, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, and also hope all your grass is healed because all of our grass died too.
Oof.
Hey, you know what's
That
crazy,
sucks.
Tyler?
Yeah.
Palm trees can survive hurricanes just fine, but one sprinkle of snow, I can't take it anymore.
Oh my god.
I mean,
Yeah,
I mean,
that
it
sucks.
was like, well, yeah, for my town, it was a foot of snow. So
What's crazy
But-
about it is I was down there for just a week beforehand, seeing palm trees all over the place in downtown New Orleans, and then this
yeah, how was
happened.
New Orleans, by the way?
Yeah, it's crazy.
How was New Orleans?
What?
I say, how was New Orleans? when
It
you
was all
visited?
right. It was all right. I had fun. I had fun down there.
Yeah, that's good.
yeah.
I wish I could have gone to AMS, but I couldn't go.
That's fair. But yeah. All right. Yoshi, Tristan, you got more stuff you want to talk about, or
I'm looking at the new icon run
okay?
to look at it.
What's up? Oh,
Oh,
Honestly, that's
I'm
it.
looking at the new icon run. I'm seeing what it's showing right now.
okay, cool.
I mean, that's it for me. We touched on everything I wanted
Yeah,
to talk
I feel,
about. Right?
I mean, unless Yoshi has more to say, I feel like I've covered everything here on the stream tonight that I wanted to talk about, because we got severe weather, we got the winter weather, we got this weekend we got the winter weather for Tuesday through Friday. We covered a lot of stuff tonight. So unless Yoshi has more he wants to bring up, I'm gonna call it a night. So yeah.
Ooh, hold on.
Oh,
I'm seeing a very interesting pattern on the icon so far.
okay.
So on the 18Z run, all right, 18Z run, it had an average of something like 430 cape.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at mixed layer cape right now at 48 hour. So let me go back to 42 hour.
Yeah.
And 42 hour had nothing actually. Okay. 48 hour.
Yeah.
Wait, no. No, my bad. I'm looking at
Yeah.
48 hour
Yo,
on
sorry to-
18Z.
okay.
It's 42 now. My bad.
Okay. Okay.
Average of had an average of about 410 cape. All right.
Yeah.
Trying to get my point now.
Yeah. All right.
And now
Sorry
the
to
points
interrupt
were
you,
like
but we got a
500
$5 donation from Jacob McDaniel. Hey, thanks for the
Ooh, good
donation,
job.
man.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
shout out
That's your first
shout out
picture
to
on a
you,
live
man. For
stream.
thanks for the $5 dono. We appreciate it tonight here on the Pat's Path Predictor channel.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
Yep. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
And the highest points were a bit more north of about 510. Now looking at the 00Z run, all right. Now we have an average of about, I'd say, 600 to 630 cape in mixed layer, and I'm seeing stuff closer to 800 at some locations. Now, sadly, Icon doesn't have soundings, which is very sad. But I will tell you, looking at this alone so far is very, very interesting, because that does mean that these bigger models also want something to like go up, you know.
Yeah.
Bolt shear, looking at it, that's about 40 to 50. Oh, bulk shear also went up. All right.
Oh, that's
I'm looking at bulk
interesting.
shear surface to 500. I'm seeing 42, maybe a 45 near the coast. And now I'm seeing 45s everywhere along the Tampa Bay area. And I'm seeing some 50s closer to the back of Hernando County. So we are already seeing some uptrends, it looks like. I'm waiting for Wrap Zero Free before I really say anything definitive.
Yeah.
But this is looking interesting, and I wouldn't be too surprised if the other models also decide to follow suit.
Yeah, I agree. And I think a slight risk for parts of Florida would be a good call based on this recent data.
Oh, certainly.
So, yeah, thank you for sharing that. Is there anything else that you got?
Unless if we're waiting until 11, then no, I don't.
Yeah,
so far.
I'm probably going to end it right about now. So,
Yeah.
All right.
yeah. All right.
If you do want, can I share my Twitter account real quick?
Oh,
I forgot to
absolutely.
ask.
Yeah, go right ahead. Let me go right ahead.
All right. Thank you. So my Twitter account is gonna be sharing
If you have a link
almost
to
live
it, I can
updates.
put it in the chat for you.
Yeah, sure. Let me put it in live Nomic then.
Yeah, go right ahead
Yeah.
and do that.
Bam.
Yeah,
There we
and
go.
also,
So
yeah. Oh,
I'm gonna
sorry.
be sharing almost live sharings on this, like what I find in model updates and whatnot, and real-time updates. If you're someone from Florida and you're a weather nerd, or you just want to look at the weather and find out what we do, then looking at my account would be
Yeah.
great, probably.
Yeah. Be sure to follow Yoshi on Twitter. It's in the pinned chat above if you want to go ahead and do that. He would really appreciate it if you went and followed him
Be
tonight.
gonna
So,
be sharing a lot of model updates tonight.
oh,
And
absolutely.
tonight is probably going to be the most important thing about this. Whether if it uptrends, then we're probably going to see it uptrend through Saturday. If it downtrends, going to see it downtrend through Saturday. So if you want to see live updates like that, go to my Twitter, and you'll see everything happening in almost real time.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. Is there anything else you guys would like to add before I close it out?
Yeah, it's nothing weather. Oh,
Tyler, go
Go ahead,
first.
you first.
yeah. So yeah, it's nothing weather related, but I just want to say that I'll probably be on these streams more often. So might as well just quickly say this. I'm Tyler. I'm based out of New Orleans, and yeah, I'll mainly help with radar stuff and give y'all information on what's happening on the ground.
All right. Wonderful. Tristan, go ahead.
I want to repeat this again for anybody who is driving in the flash flood watches, especially the PDS flood watch. Turn on, don't drive. Do not drive in low-lying areas where it can flood easily. And by the way, just letting you know, there is something concerning. I know we don't talk about the drought. There is some drought around that flooding area. The last time we had drought in flooding areas, it ended up causing some landslides also here on the mountains.
Oh, yeah.
Be very cautious of that too. Another thing to mention is that tomorrow could be enhanced. Tomorrow could be moderate. We don't know yet because there's so many conflicting pieces of evidence. Please be very weather aware. Again, we keep saying this. It only takes 40 miles per hour in saturated soils from a wake low, from thunderstorms, from a cold front, to down trees and power lines that could strike a car, that could block a road, that could strike a mobile home. A mobile home.
There you go.
And it can cause damage to homes. And not to mention the comet head, some prefrontal cores that might happen, the QLCS line with the cold front. So please be very weather aware, especially if you live in a mobile home. Make sure if you have not done that yet, and hopefully tonight you locate where your storm shelter is, or a storm shelter that the community uses.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, Tristan. John, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, so everyone else pretty much covered what I was going to say. Make sure, I wanted to add, make sure you have multiple ways of receiving weather warnings, not just in the severe threat, but also in the flooding threat. Because this tomorrow looks like a very active day, so please be weather aware if you're
Can we do
in
one more
the threat.
game before we the stream? I want to make sure because we used to do this a lot of the time.
What's up?
Can someone post up the what to do under a tornado warning type messaging and show it on stream real quick?
Yeah.
For anybody.
Yeah. Do you have it on you?
I sadly do not. But I can look it up real quick.
Yeah. Go for it real quickly.
Yeah.
And I'll briefly cover that, and then I'm gonna go on my segment and close it out. So
I'll do flash what to do in a flash flood warning as well.
Also, hey John, are you okay if I share are you okay if I share the storm code or no? John? Okay, he's gone AWOL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up, John? I was gonna say you could do. Let me see the storm code real quick. Just some advice. Is that just for flood? Oh, you're waiting for the day one risk. Okay, that's
Yeah.
That's just winter weather and flooding. I'm waiting for severe risk, so I can outline that area as well.
Are you okay if I share that for our audience
Yeah.
real quickly?
Yeah, if you want to share that, that's fine. I
Yeah.
don't have the severe risk on there yet because
That's
I'm waiting
fine.
for day one. But if you want to show that, that's
Yeah. So
fine.
for those of you who do not know, this has been John's project at Storms United for a while. And what he does is he does our storm code. He heads our storm code department. And what ultimately we have is we have a code system here at Storms United where, depending on the threat level, depends on what code we issue. So code yellow is kind of like typical like thunderstorms, winter weather, all that stuff. And code red is what we have here is for like more extreme weather, like the flash flooding in particular. And we're still waiting for the severe weather risk to come out. So this is some stuff we've been working on behind the scenes, and I just figured I'd share that with you guys since I've been the first time I've been streaming for a while. So I hope you guys enjoy it. You're definitely going to see more of this for sure. And if the guys at Storms United are okay with that, I'm going to start sharing that more here on the Pat's Path Predictor channel. But Tristan, I just saw what you put in live no mic. You have the messaging for us. What's up?
Can I add to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
If anyone wants to join us in Storms United, everyone is more than welcome to. One of us will post the link in the chat. Come in and hang out with us.
Yeah, for sure.
Come in, have a good time. Don't get drunk from too much weather.
Yeah, for sure. I'll go ahead.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead.
Oh, I couldn't even post it. Okay, there we go.
Oh no, that's gonna be our catchphrase from now on, isn't it? Don't
What?
get drunk from too much weather at Storms United.
Yeah. All right. So that's our Discord server right there. Be sure to join it. We'd really appreciate it if you did that. We have a lot of fun. But anyway, we have our messaging for you guys right here for our viewers. If you are in flash flooding, turn around, don't drown. People escaping floodwaters as a last resort, do not stay in the attic. You could become trapped. Get on the roof if you have to, or a higher floor. As for this, seek shelter immediately if a tornado warning is issued. If driving, find the nearest shelter. Get out of mobile homes and continue to check for updates for updates as it's going on. So, tornado warning, as always, means take action. A tornado is expected or ongoing. So, if you guys don't have anything else, I'll go ahead and close it out.
One more thing I do want to mention is there is something we need to talk about briefly, because ever since, and this goes a bit of a long way ago, ever since Hurricane Harvey and the way the tornado and flash flood warnings stacked on each other, can we tell viewers what to do if both warnings occur at the same time, especially if the risks are so close? What you need to do is, if the flooding is not too severe, because sometimes you may want to just risk the tornado warning, if your area is being flooded. If your area or basement is not being flooded, you still need to go down to the basement or the lowest level of your home, sturdy building, away from windows, no mobile homes or vehicles. But that's the only time you ever risk a tornado warning, is if your house is actually flooding and you need to get out, because you have more of a likelihood to be. The flash flooding will likely do more harm than the tornado, because flash floods can spread out in a large area. Tornadoes are even the biggest ones are pretty small.
Mm-hmm.
So unless your house is being flooded, still take the precautions of a tornado warning. If
Absolutely.
it is, then I think the flash flooding is actually more dangerous than the tornado warning in that case. So that's just. But if you have some flash flooding, but it's not a lot, the first level of your home, away from windows, a bathtub, cover a mattress over you. Have a helmet, have hard shell shoes, just in case you have to walk through tornado debris, especially at night. So, and charge your phones, charge your electronics. You might be without a power. Gotta talk about that too.
All right.
Especially with damaging straight line wind events in Mississippi with a bunch of trees and Alabama. A lot of time they get so many 911 calls over just trees.
Yeah.
So hopefully people that actually do get injured, if they do, I hope they don't, will actually get the calls in. But just let you know, 911 busy tomorrow with so many reports of down power lines and trees. So please be very careful during this event and don't do nothing stupid.
Don't.
That's wonderful advice.
Yep.
Yeah, that's wonderful advice. Don't do anything stupid. Yo, Brendan is back right at this. We are ending the stream.
When
I know. I came in at the right time.
Yeah, but yeah. All right. Brendan, since you're back here, what are your final thoughts?
Well, I think John really put it together eloquently when he was here, when he said, there's a lot of everything going on.
Yeah.
And I won't be as monotone as that, but I mean that pretty much sums it up. I mean, we have a lot going on over this next week, and certainly watching for tomorrow. Models, as we talked about throughout much of the stream in the beginning, are looking very interesting, but waiting on some morning obs on that, and the snow event for not just Southern Illinois and Indiana, Missouri, but also maybe one next week, nor'easter maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Man,
So we shall see.
yeah.
Poppy.
A lot of stuff to watch in the next week. A
sure.
lot of things to talk about, and of course, I'm sure this will not be the last live stream we do in the coming weeks.
Definitely. Also, hey, the Weather Watcher, if you're still watching this, come join the Storms United Discord server. We and all that stuff. We'd like to have you in here. So, yeah, let us know if you're interested in doing that. But with that being said, do you have more to say, Brendan?
No, that's it.
All right, Rocket,
We're
what are
good.
your final thoughts before I close it out?
Yep. Yeah, so my friend left, so I just came back.
You're good.
I would just say, again, crazy week of weather, and that'd be crazy for me, especially because all the major flooding, then a big snow event, and then the temperature's it's just gonna be wild
Yeah,
for most people, and yeah.
sure.
But I would like to mention, if we have a bit of time after stream, the zero Z GFS is coming in right now.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh.
I would like it's like rendering and like it just literally just came in. I mean, not like
We can take that
we got
offline.
about 18
That's fine.
hours,
Yeah.
so
all right, all right.
not too bad.
I'll just like mention that, to
Yeah,
mention that.
we'll do.
Yeah,
Good deal. Good
Alright.
deal.
Yeah,
yep. But that's all I gotta say.
yeah. All right. I'm going to go ahead and close this out for tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. I know I have a little bit of a different look compared to what we have last stream. Yes, I got a haircut.
I haven't even commented on that yet.
Yeah, Tristan, what do you think of it?
Lovely
Oh,
haircut,
no,
by the way.
it looks silly in a good way. You look professionally
Nah.
silly.
Thank
That's
you.
a compliment.
Thank you. I've been getting
Lovely
a lot of
haircut.
comments saying they like the new haircut. What's crazy is
I
I've
do
had
not
long
approve.
hair.
Please go back to the other one.
Are you
No, I don't
serious?
approve at all.
What?
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Good God.
epic, get him.
Oh,
Hey, Pat, I was
oh,
going to
God.
Go ahead.
it looked like the Amazon performance when it burnt down.
You know, one of my friends in the Met department told me I looked like a very manly Muppet. I am not trolling.
I wouldn't maybe go that far, but okay.
Okay.
That's interesting.
That's interesting.
Bro, I
That's
don't
an
know.
interesting little-
That's his words, not mine.
Wow, that's a
Wow.
hell of an.
Okay, but with that being said,
The way to describe it.
with that being said, though, yeah, I had long hair for 10 years, man. I had to cut it. I had other stuff going on. But yeah, what I will say is thank you for tuning in tonight. I really appreciate it. We all appreciate it here at Storms United. Be sure to like the stream, subscribe to the channel if you are new. We're going to try to get more people engaged with weather. I know I haven't been here for a while, and I want to take a quick second to address that. I know I haven't been here for a while. I know I haven't been very active. I had some stuff going on personally. I know
I would
we all
like
have
to
our
mention
we all have
too-
our struggles in life and everything like that.
Life
But-
happens all the time.
Yep, it happens
Um,
all the time, and I had to deal with school stuff, life stuff, everything in between. And coming back here on Valentine's Day of all days is good way, is a kind of a good way to kind of reset and get things back on track. So
And
What's up?
Not only that, but it's not just Pat who's been dealing with a lot of mental demons recently.
Yeah.
I have too. And it got so bad that I had to take a long break.
Yeah,
'cause,
that's
I
understandable.
wasn't-
Yeah.
No, yeah, my demons are that bad. I had to take a break.
Yeah, you
I
don't
know a
have
lot
to
of
get
you
into
are like,
it if you don't want to. I just want to close this. I just wanted to say that. But yeah. All right.
we all get demons, and and I want to do a special message real quick. 'Cause
Go ahead.
we have
Yeah,
to
sure.
stop
That's
you.
fine.
Anybody in the chat, you're always welcome to Storms United. We are also open to, and I hope more people do this on the server, Pat.
Do what?
We are very open to some mental health support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people deal with this, and don't worry, you're not alone. Here
I
with
know.
you.
I know Ethan was going through his stuff
Weather,
too.
that's a good community.
Yeah.
We are
But-
very supportive.
For sure. We're here to support you. And yeah, I just wanted to make that clear. I know I've been kind of AWOL for a while as all this crazy weather has been going on. And I want to say thank you for being patient with me and waiting for me to come back. And I plan on being back here I plan on coming back here and doing this. And one thing I want to do with this channel is I want to make it to the point where I can actually do this not necessarily full time, but I want to put more work into this and put more effort into this because this is something I've been wanting to do. I have 11,000 subs now. I've been growing it for the last 3 years. We had a very successful hurricane season last year where we more than doubled our sub count, which thank you very much for doing that. And this is something I want to work on. This is a goal I want to work on with not just Pat's Path Predictor, but Storms United. I want to take a bigger step in this. And here's a few things I'm going to be doing to make that happen. Number one, I'm making documentaries. I made a lot of them last year, actually. You guys really loved them. So my plan is to start making documentaries. I'm actually going to I'm working on the script for another one I'm making. It's the 2021 Texas documentary for that snowstorm down there that I'm actually working on. It's actually I already did all the research for it for my synoptics paper last semester. So all I have to do is convert it and write that into a script. So yeah, I'm still working on it and editing that. My plan is to get that done more frequently, as well as use my Patreon a bit more to kind of help promote that. Because what I want to do is when I have big releases like what I'm working on, I want to kind of start with that and give the channel members that have supported me and the Patreon members, including especially Daniel, who've supported me, kind of something to look forward to. And I'm hoping to do some early releases with those documentaries and other big stuff as well.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure when it's going to be done. I plan on working on it this weekend, but I have a lot of stuff to work on as well with school and everything like that. So ideally, the plan is for it to get released on next week on February 21st, and then we'll see where we go from there and how you guys like that. I'm also going to hopefully post some more YouTube shorts where kind of we look at some weather of the day stuff and kind of convert that into short form content and all of that stuff as well as regular uploads, because this is going to be a very ambitious goal. But by the time I graduate, which is in May, I'm hoping to get up to 50,000 subs. It sounds unrealistic, I know, but I think we can do it if I can get everything together. So thank you for being patient and thank you for supporting me. And the last thing I'm going to say is I wouldn't be here without you guys. And thank you for all the support you've given me for the last 3 years. And I hope to continue doing this going forward. With that being said, be sure to leave a like.
One more.
Oh, go ahead, Tristan.
And hopefully, if everyone doesn't hate me on it, I am hoping after having a long mental battle, I'm hoping to come back and do better things
absolutely
to help y'all.
Yeah, and I'm hoping to be able to do more because I like supporting this channel and I feel like I can bring the things that I do best here.
Yeah. So I just want to
Yes.
say thank you for everything you guys have given me the last few years.
Later on, I don't know if your code would like anything extra. I used to do this of watching the skies.
Yeah.
If you want to, if I have time,
Mhm.
I can actually post forecast articles on Google Docs because I used to do it a lot.
You and
So,
we can talk about that after we get off the stream, but
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
someone
I
who
was
wants to
actually
agree with that.
thinking about after stream. That's why I'm saying later, not now.
yeah, that's fine. We can do that. But last thing I will say, like I said, is thank you for all the support. I really appreciate you guys coming out tonight. I know it's Valentine's Day. Everybody's busy and all that stuff. But thank you for coming out tonight and supporting. We only got 50 viewers peak at one point, but one viewer is plenty for me. If one person watches that and gets more engaged with weather, it warms my heart. And I want to say thank you for coming out tonight. With that being said, I'm going to close out the stream. Thank you for the support, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Stay safe.